check-in, come on, let's go. It's the AM Nasty Big Hello.
Hello!
It's not static AM radio.
It's the cool bed, red hot Nielson Show. Let's go. Daddy likes. Everybody tuning in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macromala intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in. He's your dealer for life. Let's crack at 6 o'clock and log you with some sirloin bites.
Well, I'll be hate watching the Super Bowl. Unbelievable. We'll get into that as we work our way through the show. What's up, everybody?
It's for the best.
Yeah,
It's
you know,
for the
in
best.
the end, it might be for the best.
For all of us.
Yeah, I could not have stood losing to the Chiefs either. You know, like it's
Yeah, that's
just,
right, yeah.
I don't want to see the Chiefs win again, and you know I can't cheer for the bloody Niners now. I'm just gonna sit there and just get hammered drunk at the Super Bowl party at Century Casino just under 2 weeks from now. That is where we will be, and we would love for you to join us. You know what? Adam makes a really good point. Adam, I think you make the best point. And look, we've got lots to get to today, but Adam makes a really good point here today. Leaving Vegas on a Thursday before a Lions Super Bowl would have hurt more. This is the best for Dusty.
This is the way. And I'm sure we could find a better name, but come join the loser club.
Yeah.
We're all losers.
I know.
We're all losers, but we're all going to be, nothing's going to be on the line. There's going to be no stress. It'll be free and easy. You know?
I was like when they were up early, like and looking like they were just
yeah.
just marching down the Niners' throats. It was amazing. I was sitting there thinking to myself, I was like, how am I supposed to leave Vegas? Like how like I don't think I could have.
Well,
And I know we've got like our
Williams-
Super Bowl party. We've got the plan for the show and everything from the casino the next day. I was like, what am I going to do here? What am I going to tell the client? Like,
Williams touched on was you were holding on to your shirt and everything, trying to you're Vegas and you're trying to and we're trying to grab you back and
you
everything.
couldn't stop him.
That was the moment I thought, yeah, you could be. This could be, and then yeah.
If you've come here today looking for me to complain about coaching decisions for the Detroit Lions, I will say this: you've come to the wrong place. I got Dan Campbell's back, man. I got Dan Campbell's back. The first fourth down, the pass was in the hands of Josh Reynolds. He should have caught it. So I have no problem with the going for it there. And then the other one would have been a 48-yarder, two things. Badgley is 33% from 50 yards or deeper. He's not a good kicker. And he's 1 for 5 on grass since 2020. So I don't care. I was fine with them going for it. The reason they lost the football game was because they couldn't stop the Niners defensively in the second half. And the whole way the momentum swung. A helmet bounce that ends up in the hands of Brandon Ayuk, and then a fumble. Back-to-back plays. That was it. That was the game. So I'm not going to sit here today and be like, oh, Dan Campbell, horrible decisions. This is why they're there. The Lions are an aggressive team. This is why they got to where they are. So as much as it killed me to lose that football game, man, I'm not coming on today and ripping Dan Campbell. It's just not going to happen. I'm going to ride with Dan Campbell until I die. We have not had a chance as Lions fans to watch anything remotely close to this in basically my entire life. So I'm going to come on today and be like, oh, Dan Campbell, brutal. No, Dan Campbell was who Dan Campbell was, and they should have executed the first one. Reynolds, are you kidding me? And Reynolds have been great so far in the playoffs. That was a brutal job.
Uncharted territory, right? You haven't been there. You're
used to this, eh? Like I'm not.
Again, join the loser
yeah,
club.
like this.
We got a seat right for you
sucks.
here.
My buddy
awesome.
Rubes, who's a huge Bills fan, texts me and goes, he's like, He goes, "Hey, Dusty, just so you know, I mean, you do get over it. Like, this is a Bills fan who's a week out after losing to the Chiefs again. It's just like, okay, well, thanks, man. I appreciate he's an AM nasty. I appreciate the support.
Super Bowl is going to be great. You're going to have a blast. And again, we could find a better name than the Loser Club, but I think you'd be better in this club as opposed to the pulling your hair out club. And
Super Bowl party's going to be good, but I'm not kidding when they say I'm hate watching this.
of course,
Like, I don't want either team to win the Super
course,
Bowl.
yeah.
Either one.
we still got Reba McEntire.
Yeah.
You now got Taylor Swift, but
Yeah, I just that sucked. That hurt. I told Hustle in the Lock Shop Friday, I was just like, you know what? It probably doesn't matter because nobody's expecting them to win anyway.
No.
So, keeping it like they kind of lost that game from a point perspective, how I sort of thought they'd lose that game. It's the path to get there that hurt. They gave me hope in the first half.
24/7.
Oh,
24/7 on the road.
that was a tough one. That was a tough one. All right, you can hit us up in the nasty chat. Of course, you can text us anytime. It does hurt. I mean,
Of course. You're
just
passionate.
because I'm defending Dan
Passionate
Campbell
guy.
today doesn't mean like I'm okay. Like it still sucks. But yeah. 780-218-9999. Maybe I need to go to old PJ's there and get it done.
Treat yourself.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Like maybe I go by there today and say, "Give me the fanciest thing you got."
Yeah, what do you buy for 2 playoff wins? Home victories. Oh,
I
something
don't know
in the
what
back.
Tabby would say if I come home all of a sudden being bling guy.
Get a ring.
Well, after last night, she must have asked me, I don't know, 8 times after the game before bed if I was okay. Like,
That's a tough one.
yeah. She just kept being, "Are you okay?" I wanted to be like, "Stop asking me if I'm okay."
In those
I'm clearly
situations,
not okay.
It's nice to ask, maybe change it. Can I do something for you? Can I, or
Yeah, I just, yeah, she
you're
just.
clearly not
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
At that point, it's teasing.
I need to like handle myself better at home watching the games in those situations. But
Again, uncharted territory.
yeah.
you haven't been here a lot. This is first time.
Ryan is in. He understands what I'm saying. Coming from a Chargers fan, Badgley would have probably missed. Dude missed so many clutch field goals. Can't kick from 45 and up. 100%. He's 33% from 50-plus in his career. This would have been a 48-yarder. Your team has been super aggressive the entire year. Plus, he's 1 for 5 on grass since 2020. I'm okay with the decision to not put the game on that guy's foot.
Why are we saying all this after you just lost the NFC? Like, how are you? How have
know.
you gotten this? How
They
have you
got
gotten
there
to this
because
point?
they're aggressive.
The guy can't make a field goal over 30 yards. Okay, that's maybe. Well, there's your first. That's where you start, right? Off season.
What off season?
Find a kicker.
Paris Jewelers inbox, like I mentioned, 780-218-9999. They're Canadian and family owned with 22 locations across the Canada. I love this part. Valentine's Day gifts for every budget, which is important. The new collection is now live in stores and at parisjewelers.com. Flexible financing options, so you do not pay for 1 year.
See, Jimbo says the R2D2 necklace. It's the blue-white,
That'd be
team
nice.
colors.
I
That'd
like
be
that. Actually, yeah, that
real
would work.
apt. Yeah.
That would work. I do like the idea of using the flexible financing on a Valentine's Day gift for somebody you're dating, and then by July you're broken up, and you're like, "Damn it, I still have to pay for this." that would suck.
YouTube Trev, you listen?
Yeah.
Just in case,
ParisJewelers.com. And like even Matt from Paris Jewelers referred to them as, I love this. He goes, "As for some talking points for Valentine's Day for PJs." That's what I'm talking about. Go see our boys at our crew at PJs, man. That's good. All right, you can hit us up in the nasty chat. And I like this one too. Lions will be back. They will be back. Like, this window is just opening for the Detroit Lions.
Should be. Although Dan Campbell was quoted post-game being like, this maybe was.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't. But yeah.
No, I know what you mean.
That's it,
But
yeah.
like you're now everybody knows. Now you're
Okay, yeah, that's different.
You're in the loser club today, but you're
hunted.
going to be in the heavy hitters club come next season. I said the conference was yours to lose. Nobody believed me. Here we are. You need a kicker.
I'm pretty sure when like the odds open next year, they'll be
Oh.
a top 5 team
Yeah.
as far as Super Bowl odds go.
Fun to watch. They'll fix some things up. And as you said, Campbell's the guy. He got you here. Will be the guy. But man, just you had that lead. Hey, that's what.
Well,
this was the story.
They're
And
rolling.
Then you go against the Chiefs, right? Who have been there, done that, and then this upstart. I mean, you'd have the nation. The nation.
It would have
was
been
ready
everybody
to be
cheering
for the
for
Detroit
the
Lions.
Lions against the Chiefs.
You'd never have that much.
I feel like Ralph Wiggum, when his heart broke, and they're like,
pinpoint
you
the-
can pinpoint
yeah.
the moment
Yeah.
his heart broke. For me, it was when that ball bounced off the helmet, and then into Ayuk's hands. I was like, oh, they're not winning this game.
When Williams
Like,
busted
when
off
you start
that run,
getting,
though, man, I was just like,
Yeah.
this is going to be an afternoon of.
I
was here we go.
I was carrying Marshall around like he was the Stanley Cup. I was just like, let's go. Oh, it sucked. You could win text of the day today. I mean, the Lions didn't win, but you could certainly win, and that'll get you a gift certificate to A&W. The spicy dill pickle mama burger is back, and it is just it's a pickle party right now. Onion slice, real cheddar cheese, slathered in creamy, spicy dill pickle sauce. So you got the pickles and the dill pickle sauce. Absolutely delicious. Find it at A&W, where most drive-thrus are open 24 hours. If you want to chime in on the football, we could definitely. I mean, the first game was a dud. Neither team could do anything in the second half. You could say, oh, it was brilliant defensive football. I'm not even sure it was that. I mean, that one was just a dud. Second game was actually really entertaining. But yeah, if you want to break this down, hit us up. You can fire us a text, 780-218-9999.
Arguably, not to take anything off your plate, the guy that should be more frustrated today coming in is Matty Iwanek.
Yeah, Iwanek should
'Cause that
definitely.
was
they were at home.
They were at home. You were expecting so much. Maybe not even a win, but if you could have taken them to the limit, right? And then, but that was
the Ravens.
They were bad.
If I was a Ravens fan today, I'd definitely be more pissed off than me as a Lions fan. 100%.
House money, right?
I thought their coach, like the Ravens just came up short in a big moment against, and they had the home field. You got the guy who's probably going to win the MVP. Lamar made some boneheaded decisions. I thought the coaching staff for the Ravens panicked, kind of got away from who they are as well. Ravens fans will probably be more disappointed today than Detroit Lions fans, for sure. Jocelyn texts in. This is cool. 780-218-9999. We made 6 o'clocker lager onion rings yesterday. They were delicious. Chef's kiss. Mwah. So you're mixing in the 6 o'clocker lager into the batter for the onion rings. Is there a way that you think you can make just the batter part of the onion ring? Because I don't like onions, but I love the outside of onion rings. So it'd be cool if you could somehow develop a way that you could just deep fry circles,
Batter chips.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, something like that. Because right now I have to bite the onion ring, and then I
Remove
pull
the
the
onion.
onion out, and then eat the. It's a massive pain in my ass as a 3-step process. That's tough. That's a tough one. But awesome. That's a cool idea. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. That's pretty good. Jack is in. Dusty, time to put some respect on Purdy. The real investment. You know what? Purdy's passing overall didn't impress me. His ability to run came up huge. I'll give him a lot of credit there. Dude ran for over 50 yards in that game. All of it in the second half when they needed him.
And can't be shook. This guy's got to,
I mean, his big play to Brandon Ayuk should have been intercepted.
Sure.
And he had an interception.
Yeah.
So, Brock Purdy, and let's just say this, the Kansas City Chiefs will have a quarterbacking advantage in the Super Bowl.
Both guys, though, have a bit of a touch, and Mahomes has been the Valdez-Scantlin, too, the final one that he's twisted around. It's with such ease. Oh, yes, to put the game on ice, I'll go over the top 30 yards. And But Purdy, too, getting, just creamed from every which angle, and you see a zoom in on his face, he's just calm as can be.
Yeah.
Nothing kind of
He does have the cool as a cucumber thing going for him. That's true, too. Johnny Dynaston says the Ravens were self-inflicted. Bad penalties and 2 end zone turnovers. Yeah, that one's tough.
Lamar Jackson's not frustrated. He's angry.
That's what he said after, didn't he?
Yeah. So.
Dr. Dreisen says, cut up hot dogs and batter them in onion ring batter.
Now we're talking here. Hey?
Hot dog ring batter. That sounds delicious.
The real not-so-slim shady use a mini donut maker with onion ring batter. There you go.
Say that again? Oh,
mini donut maker.
Okay, yeah.
So they're going down that little river that they do.
That is one of the coolest rivers going.
Exactly.
If we were going to have a river draft, I think I think Mini Donut River would definitely be right there. That's pretty cool.
Before Old Man?
Alan, yeah, that's right. Old Man's got first
Old
round.
Man.
Right? Alan Fester says, I don't like onions either, but you can't really taste onions in onion rings, in my opinion. You can taste them a little bit. Like, I'll choke them down. We used to stop in Grassland at, can't remember the name of the burger joint up there, but I choked down their onion rings. Mariah's in it, says, oh my God, the 6 o'clocker lager is so good. Found some finally in Westlock. Boom. Like we said, we were nervous when we first cracked it. We're like, damn, this better be delicious because we're going to tell everybody it is anyway. But turns out it absolutely was. So let's just keep that rolling. It's on tap now. It's on tap at the Silent Ice Center. YouTube, Trev, tell us about this. There's a good buzz for the 6 o'clocker lager down there.
Yeah, I have a friend that works at the Silent Ice Center, and she was saying the one table was just, they couldn't get enough of it, and they actually polished off the whole keg, and they were talking about EST, and it was pretty sweet. So yeah, I put a smile on my face when I heard that. But back home as well, it was pretty sweet. A lot of my buddies were crushing them. So it's, it's in the younger crowd. Like I seen a few stories, like Snapchat stories, and just photos of people just crushing 6 o'clocker. Yeah. So they're in with the college, like in the college parties. Yeah. So it was sweet, and I'm like,
take that, Mr. Beast.
Exactly. Yeah, he's not doing that. So It was pretty cool. I was like, let's go. Like, that's us, guys. That's us.
That is cool.
Is that Pincher Creek? Like they get them from there, or what's the?
So it would have been Lethbridge. It would have been Lethbridge. Yeah.
Imports, yeah. Oh, that's great news right there. That's big. When you make the Snapchat crowd, buddy, it's like there for a little bit, then it's gone. You just don't know. I mean, that's great. 780-218-9999. We will lay out the show for you today. La Bamba guy says, shout out to Wally's in Grassland. Best stop when driving to the Mac. Yeah, Wally's. That's the place. Wally's was just awesome. Tam and I used to stop there all the time. Joe Cools in it says, Sobeys Liquor opening soon in sunny downtown Devon. Let's hope they save some 6 o'clockers for the new location. You know what, Joe? It's funny. We were out there on Sunday morning as the White Mud West Wildcats went up against Devon's U9 team. And after... Marshall saw the Sobeys Liquor that said opening soon, and he's like, Daddy, do you think they'll have 6 o'clocker lager? And I said, yes, son. Yes, they will. I can't wait for 10 years from now when my son and I can have a 6 o'clocker lager. That'll be great.
You put that picture out, and I was like, oh, where's Marshall? Oh, there he is.
Yeah. Where's
You're
Marshall?
kind of looking on name bars. Oh, the tall
He's
red
the one
there
whose helmet
standing.
is hovering above everyone else's helmet.
We got some
pep
talk.
We got
Like,
some
let's
decent
go.
sized kids on his team too. He just happens to be a freak.
The tall one.
Yeah. Back from vacation and back to texting in. The Ravens' downfall was the taunting call. So stupid.
Yeah.
This Super Bowl is very uneventful. Get ready for 2 weeks of annoying Swift notifications. And that's in from Jasmine. She's a woman. And she's saying, Taylor Swift, annoying notifications.
Well.
Yeah, the Ravens, that taunting penalty forced them back, and then Flowers, when he went in, good defensive play, had the ball knocked away.
The emotion was all over the place. You're slamming your helmet down. There's still minutes left to go.
Yeah,
like
there's
still
lots of
drives
time.
left to
Even
go. Like,
when
can I keep it?
When Lamar threw that ball to the end zone, he didn't have to do that.
What were you doing there?
That was not good.
And you can argue maybe pass it. You could, but 3 guys at that point too. You can just take the field goal. Like you don't need to be going there.
Even likely put his arm up and called for it when he was running into triple coverage. I mean, that made no sense. Could have been PI. I like when they came back and the rules broadcaster, what's his name? I can't remember. They go to
the old official.
He's like, yeah, no, I think the contact came after. Right as they're breaking it down, he goes, I think as the contact came after the reception. And then you can see likely clearly pushed before the interception. He goes, oh, it might have been a little early, but still a good call. I was just saying,
Gene Steratore?
Yeah, they are trying too hard to work in the officials guy. Like, he must have a hit where he has to do like 6 hits.
I'd rather not if I'm a fan of the team getting the scrimmage. Yeah. Well, probably should have been, but
I don't know. I just felt like Travis, and I tweeted this, I felt like Travis Kelce was a little taunty the entire game. Like Travis Kelce, I know this is going to be a bad comparison, but Travis Kelce looked like high school football player who knew his girlfriend was in the stands and just wanted to be the coolest dude there.
Oh.
You know,
he should have the Letterman jacket. KC afterwards. You know, let's go in my sports car or something like that. No, he taunts, but again, it was the incorporation of the ball. The one taunt was it Zay
the
Flowers?
ball bounced off the back. He kind of pushed him down too. Anyway, we've got a Niners-Chiefs Super Bowl, and we'll see how this plays out over the next couple of weeks. See kind of where the buzz goes for it. Like
Well,
it is
certainly goes against the color conspiracy of the logo, right? I mean, nobody can crow about that anymore,
that's
right?
true.
So
the defending champs, in the end, I mean, as much as I will be hate watching this year's Super Bowl, in the end, it is the defending champions against the Super Bowl favorites going into the playoffs.
a rematch.
So a rematch from a few years back. So what say you? Where do you come out on this Chiefs, Niners, Super Bowl? Obviously, I hate it. Can you imagine if it was a Lions-Bills Super Bowl? My God.
Well, no, and that's I don't like all of us.
We'll never get it.
There was
that.
a chance that all three of us could have factored in even yesterday, right? Like all that, and could have been a low-key LTE Ionic Championship Sunday, but it's for not.
You guys
That's
don't
okay.
have to go in the lock shop with Huss all
Well,
bloody
that's
week.
the problem. That's the problem. No lock
God.
shop bowl either now.
More Chiefs. More
you would've had the
Chiefs
world.
propaganda on the lock
The
shop.
world would have been behind you taking on Taylor Swift and the
I
Chiefs.
know.
That's the thing.
Eminem versus Taylor
Oh,
Swift.
that's Usher just continues to get
That would have been good. Poor,
bodied.
poor Usher still doesn't matter. Like, John the Owls fan is in. Gosh darn Lions. Talk about a choke job of effort proportions. I'm so pissed, mostly at myself for letting them suck me back into believing in them. Can't make a tackle. Can't catch a pass when they need it the most. Screw you for making me care again. Same old Lions.
Well,
no, these aren't the same old. This was.
That's got to be a joke.
This
That's
was.
gotta be
But
a
no,
joke.
it's not. I saw it yesterday on Twitter too.
Same old
I saw
Lions.
people being like, the Lions are remembering they're the Lions.
No.
The Lions aren't some fluke team that got there. The Lions were an excellent regular season team too. The same old Lions are a team that never, ever made the playoffs for like the longest time. Had never, ever won a playoff game. This is not the same old Lions.
Same old Bills for crying out loud.
Same old Bills.
Talk to me.
You can make the argument.
You want to do same olds? Talk to me. Come at me.
He's same old guy. I'm not same old guy. This was amazing.
We missed a kick. Wide right.
Same old.
Same old. That's same old, baby. The capital S-O.
Dusty, I'm genuinely sad for you this morning. You deserve to have your boys head to the Super Bowl, and that super sucks. Thanks, man. Thanks, Morinville Steb. We appreciate that.
I do love how everybody's sad for you, but nobody sheds a tear for one Matthew I want.
Yeah.
Today's the day of like, Lions
Yeah.
sadness.
But
Ah,
I mean,
man.
different expectations going in.
Absolutely.
So.
But dropping that at home when you're the 1 seed, oof.
The Lions are.
Oof.
The Ravens are still rolling an alleged murderer out to be like, pump us up.
Ooh,
Like,
you went there.
Come
Yeah,
on, people
no,
can't
I-
feel bad for the Ravens.
I'm here for that. Yeah.
Guys, I'll be at the Century.
Alleged.
I like this. Bones is in it. Says, I'll be at Century ignoring the game after Reba sings.
We all just turn our
They
backs.
just turn around.
We
like,
go up for the Star Spangled Banner. Once that's done, we all go into the casino and gamble the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the protest.
Let's get a conch here for Morinville man Steb. Hey boys, I need a conch this morning. My mother and sister-in-law have been staying with me since Thursday, and let's just say I'm happy to go to work this morning for myself and all of those who are fighting the good husband fight. Give us a conch this morning.
Full house.
That is nice leaving for work though, right? After that, you're like, it's like, oh, thank God.
Get there nice and early.
I don't even care where you work. You're like,
No, it
whatever.
doesn't matter.
You work at the penitentiary, and you'd be like, give me those criminals after that weekend. 780-218-9999. Old Gil is it? It says he sent us the gif of Pete Weber being like, who do you think you are? I am. He goes, Kelsey after every play. Right? Kelsey after every play wants to like headbutt somebody and then
Same arm motions. It's actually pretty.
I feel I didn't mind Travis Kelce, and I love Taylor Swift, but I think I like her being there, but I think I like Kelce less now than before.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You haven't had Taylor Swift's done nothing. She's enjoying the game of football.
Yeah, she's
you
just
can't,
having
you
a good
can't harm
time.
her for doing anything. And
She's America's sweetheart.
She's found a little love. That's all right. I mean, Andy Reid's doing what he's doing. You see their little moment too post game when
They pointed at each
that's
other.
So sweet.
God.
But yeah, I think the one guy you hate the most now is Kelsey. Hey, like that's kind of the that's where his hatred
Yeah,
goes.
I don't
to.
know. I just
And
like
he's taking
Kelsey
it all
less
on.
now. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, what say you? Hit us up.
And Brittany Mahomes, nobody talks about.
Yeah, she kind of flying, and nobody talks
Same
about
old,
that brother anymore. Right? He's completely fallen off
He's
the
on those
map.
Pinty's advertisements.
He probably
He's telling me why chicken figures are Pinty's.
I would assume Jackson Mahomes hates Taylor Swift.
Oh, yes.
Has to.
Yes.
Has to, right? Somebody have any proof of this?
Sucked all the oxygen.
Let us know. In the nasty chatter at 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. In like a CD lamb, out like a Detroit lion. The lamb and lion thing.
That's
from Jerry.
I like that.
I think the Lions will be a really good football team next year.
You should be excited.
I'll lay it out right now. The Lions will have a better record next year than the San Francisco 49ers.
I can't even say you're back because you haven't been here before.
No,
So you
we're
are
just here. We're here.
Welcome, welcome
here.
to real life.
We're here. 780-218-9999 or hit us up in the nasty chat as well. And, we'll get to a few of your text messages as we work our way through the show this morning. Let's lay this bad boy out for you. We got a few things to discuss around a hockey team that, I don't know, have won 16 in a row.
I mean, that's such old news now.
May never lose again. Yeah, people are just, it's funny because as soon as they lose one, people are going to be livid. And you're going to forget that they won 16 in a row. And 24 of 27. It's redonkulous.
And where would they go for that 17 against their nemesis down in Vegas? Hey, going to Vegas.
Yeah.
The nemesis.
They got him.
It's a hell of a storyline.
And we will be there. Hey, what do you think of my graphic I posted yesterday? I worked on that during the Ravens-Chiefs game. And I was pretty happy with the way it turned out. Trev, you do some graphic. What do you think?
I was wondering where that came from. I was genuinely, I was pretty impressed.
Do I impress you as an old man with graphics?
Yeah, because you're all self-taught, right? Like, in graphic design, you're taught in college.
I didn't even learn in college. I just taught myself Photoshop.
Yeah, so there's the four big things. It's called CARP, and it's contrast, alignment, repetition, and proximity, and you nailed all of them. So,
I carped it?
Yeah, you carped it. Look good.
I didn't realize that.
Yes, sir.
I thought it looked sharp. I moved a few things around. It took me a little while, like a couple different variations. But anyway, we're going to Vegas. If you're new to the show, you're not yet familiar with this Vegas promotion, we have teamed up with YEG, the Edmonton International Airport. We've teamed up with the LVVCA, Las Vegas Conference Visitors Association. The LVCVA would be the proper name of it. And they're hooking us up with a bunch of tickets. We got an itinerary. We're going to the Sphere. We are going to be going to the Oilers game when they try to tie the record at 17. Imagine if you tie the record and then you lose to the Ducks after. I mean, that would suck the big one. But we'll be there for that. We're going to be doing our shows Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from Vegas. Nielson Show, Hangouts, Lock Shop, and then Oil Stream, two guys and a goalie. Tommy's coming down. He's going to do pre and post from there as well. We've already had a bunch of Oilers fans reaching out and being like, hey, where's the meetup before? What's going on before? I mean, I would think we'll probably end up at Beer House before, but we'll let people know if you're just sliding on down to Vegas as well. I got a few buddies who are going to be down there already. There's going to be a lot of people in Vegas for this Oilers game, so probably even more so now that they have a chance to. Like, you're sitting there going, I wouldn't mind going to Vegas, but the Oilers have a chance to make it 17 in a row. So
we were down there for the first meeting, and I think anything that could come close would probably go in for 17 in a row, right? To garner that type of attention and people going down there en masse. So maybe the Beer House. I mean, it makes sense, right? Locale and everything. It's kind of a nice inside-outside type of place. And
Vegas.
It'd be a lot of fun.
Their nemesis.
The nemesis.
In the overtime, Roof Daddy. As Bays.
Oh, wait, I missed it. Let's just play the whole bloody thing. Doug Roach.
Joe Cassidy turns back. Looks like they're doing a little reverse that you might see in football. And here comes Bays. He's got some speed. Split the D. Oh, what's he going to do? He's shooting at Roof Daddy. Oh, look at that. Look at this. Look at that. And there's the speed. The old banana splitty Rudy. And, Vernon is rejoice as their nemesis. Steinbach. They get him. In the overtime, Roof Daddy. As Bazin kept chugging as his speed helped split the D.
Split the D. Their nemesis. They get them. That's what the others are going to try to do in Vegas. And we are going to be there. And then when we come back, we are going to give away a trip for two to Vegas for one of you AM Nasties, the ES tiers. That's going to be awesome.
Matty said he's looking forward more to the giveaway than him going down there himself.
That's because he hasn't been to Vegas. I mean, I also am really looking forward to giving away a trip to Vegas, but I'm probably looking forward to going a little bit more myself.
I just love his enthusiasm of wanting to give that trip away. But you're right. One of the sub-stories in this, and one of the main ones, is Matty going to Vegas for the first time.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big watch.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm on board for that storyline for sure. All right, let's get to a sports update for Green Plan. When we come back, the Edmonton Oilers have won 16 in a row. So what are we talking about this week? Like, if they would have gone into a break, having lost the last two, we would have had a lot of rage from everybody. But instead, they go in just looking like the best hockey team that we've seen here in 30 years.
Took care of business last week.
Oh, they love
your
taking
opposition,
care of
but they
business.
took care of business, right?
The TCB boys.
Matinee puck drops.
Doesn't matter.
Nobody
Doesn't
cares
matter.
about that anymore.
Nobody even cares that they don't even play 60 all the time. It's just like,
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. They'll play good for 40. It's done. It's lights out.
But you'll pay for 60.
Corey Perry, first impressions. What say you? Hit us up in the nasty chat or at 780-218-9999. Sports Update with LT.
San Francisco 49ers rallying to knock off the Lions 34-31, advancing to the Super Bowl. San Francisco scoring 17 points in an 8-minute span in the third to advance to Super Bowl 58. Earlier in the day, the Chiefs advancing to their fourth Super Bowl in 5 years, hanging on to defeat the Ravens 17-10. You can join the entire Edmonton Sports Talk crew for Super Bowl 58. We'll be at the Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, Centric Casino Fort Road, February 11th. Menu items under $10, 6 o'clock or lager in the can, and your chance at prizing throughout the day. Kraken double up Columbus 4-2. Jordan Eberle with 3 points, and Braden Shen scoring in overtime, leading the Blues over the Kings 4-3. The Oilers capturing wins 16 in a row Saturday afternoon over Nashville. The club will enter the All-Star break. They chase 17 straight wins next Tuesday down in Vegas. Ottawa will host Nashville in the lone game later tonight. Rowan Woodward with the winner as the Oil Kings beat the Wheat Kings 5-4 from Rogers Place in overtime. The club visit Lethbridge tomorrow to take on the Hurricanes. Minnesota over New York 2-1 in overtime in the PWHL. Minnesota now tied for top spot in the league with Montreal on 15 points. Action resumes Saturday as the PWHL 3-on-3 showcase will take place Thursday night in Toronto. AJHL action from yesterday. Drumheller over Bonnyville 5-4. Whitecourt drop one on the road in Calgary 5-3. And Camrose 4-1 victors up in Grand Prairie. Action resumes tomorrow night when Bonnyville visit Fort McMurray. And the Raptors drop one in the final seconds, 126-125 to the Knicks. 12 games around the NBA tonight. Raps visit the Bulls tomorrow, looking to shake a 5-game slide. Sports Update brought to you by Green Plan, providing you with award-winning environmental planning and consulting services, whether it's municipal, industrial, or residential. Plan it right with Green Plan. Visit green-plan.com or give them a call, 780-455-4292.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
.634 with the AM Nasty. Decided to mix in a little country there because we are hopping back in the barn today for another episode of the Achy Breaky podcast. That'll drop a little bit later on this afternoon. Who are we going to be discussing today?
My man, Clint Black.
Clint Black with a music video that is pretty much just like a director's cut of the movie Maverick.
Well, and to which he started Maverick. He's been on King of the Hill. This is a man who's worn a few hats in his time. And I'm looking forward to it. I've wanted Clint Black for some time on this podcast.
Nobody tucks a cowboy shirt into a tight pair of fitting jeans like Clint Black.
Screams 90s, hey? His
Yeah.
whole ensemble. Like, it's just...
hits the harmonica in this bad boy, too.
He's raised off the harmonica.
Is he really?
Yeah,
Okay.
That's kind of how he got his...
Okay, this is good.
Hey.
Listed, and some of the research I saw yesterday, the song that we're doing today was listed as the third best country gambling song of all time.
Third best.
Third best.
Yeah.
Third best. Obviously, The Gambler is number
Well,
one.
I don't know.
Can't remember number two. And then we've got the song that we're doing today with Clint Black. So, Achy Breaky podcast. We just crack a couple bevies, have a lot of fun. And, we'll see how it goes. Should be a good one. That'll cheer me up after the Lions loss.
Well, give us a reason to watch Maverick again,
Yeah.
I think, if
Yeah,
anything.
exactly.
Right? That'll be our Monday movie night, Maverick.
That'd be nice, actually. I don't mind that. What are we
We
watching?
got no
tonight?
hockey this week. Yeah, it's
Maverick.
fine. It's good. Yeah.
I was looking at your hat there. Those lids are nice.
I'm trading one of these lids today, actually.
What? What are you talking about?
Well,
Does
no.
Iwanek know about this?
No. It's all you can
Is
check
this
the
above
spreadsheets.
ground?
I
Does
purchased.
HR Daddy know?
I purchased an extra one for myself.
Okay. And it's for a tradesy.
Well, just in case, you like to have extra stock on hand. So I bought this prior to Christmas. So I bought another one. I have one. It's just mint.
High product marketing, promotional products that bring the buzz.
And yeah, this dude's coming from Humboldt, Saskatchewan. I said,
Okay.
bring a piece of Broncos merch out here, and I'll trade you straight
That's
up.
a
So he's
good
got me
deal.
Humboldt Broncos cap. He's going to come by later after the show. Maybe I'll give him a
Beautiful.
tour of the station
yeah.
and everything, and we'll make the exchange.
Oh, that's nice.
Maybe you could take a photograph of the deal.
Is he coming all the way in from Humboldt just to pull the trigger on a deal? Must
He's
have
here for
something
something.
else.
He's
Yeah,
here for
okay,
a
yeah.
tournament or something like that.
I like it though. I saw you, Chaz. I saw a few people wearing them in the wild over the weekend.
Well, then I get the cap. Then this is the marketing. Headed to Humboldt, right, and put it out there.
Yeah,
we
no,
need some
that's it.
stickers too prior to Vegas. If you,
Well, we got stickers, don't we?
I'll be stickering that whole city.
Well, we got stickers.
Give me a stack.
You want stickers? We got stickers. We got decals, decals.
Decals.
We got decals too. So that's good. It is draft week. Captain's draft later in the week. We picked the right week to do a draft. We're going to do this draft on Friday. We got to determine the draft order. So we'll certainly get to that. But the Edmonton Oilers making it 16 in a row. What do you think of Corey Perry as a member of the Edmonton Oilers? 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. You can also hit us up in the nasty chat as well. Man, a couple of good check-ins today too. We'll get to those. What'd you think of Perry, buddy?
I was watching the game at a bowling alley.
You were.
So it's kind of off and on and off. And
5-pin.
5-pin, yeah. Cracked 100 a couple of times.
I grew up on 5-pin. That's all we had in
pro or
Cranbrook.
anything.
Yeah.
It's all about the English. It's all about seeing how close you can get to the gutter with spinning out, right? Like, I don't even care about the pins I hit. It's all about the English. But no, I mean, look, first game, right? A little over 10 minutes. I mean, I think you can kind of see what's there and see what's to come, perhaps. Yeah, fine with it. Again, nothing under too much of a microscope, but what were the pre and post? I mean, the people were slathering over the appearance, YouTube Trevor.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that liked him, and including myself. Like I thought right out of the gate that third line they were pretty flashy. They were one of the flashier lines to start. And they actually had some chemistry. Even Corey Perry, he talked about it in the post-game interviews. He was like, yeah, I'm surprised. We've only been together that was our first game. We had one practice, and we were able to make some plays, quick passes. Like, that's what I noticed. Like, they all read each other really well. And the one thing I had mentioned, and Tommy agreed, but it's, his feet, the physicality, or just his speed, his quickness may not be there, but he's still got the brains, right? Like he's still like that kind of doesn't really go away. So, and you kind of saw that in the one play where he was behind the net. He made a quick pass to Holloway. Holloway wasn't ready. So that's where it kind of intrigues me. Like, if that's Leon Draisaitl, Leon Draisaitl's probably going to make that, it's going to be a goal. That would have been a goal. So I like what I saw. It was a first, game, and I think it was all positives that come out of it. Really, no negatives. It's just more questions. Where do you put him? Is he suited for the third line? Would you like to? Because you liked what he brought. You really do. So do you want to mix that up? Do you want to see him in the second line? So time will tell. But I mean, I think it's just excellent. I'm really excited to see what he can do.
I think he'll probably be on the third line for a little bit. But you saw with some of the plays that he made that he could contribute on a second line if you wanted Fogle to slide down and play with McLeod and Holloway, which would be fine as well. I would say I was pleasantly surprised with Corey Perry. Like, he didn't look like he hadn't played in 2 months, I guess. I'll say that. I think that's a positive there as well. Your thoughts on it, hit us up. Stony Soprano Yukon says third line stood out for sure. Perry looked solid. Do we need a legitimate backup or another solid defenseman? Or we'll get into a lot of that here as we work our way through this week as well. Jeffrey Taylor's in and says, my mom, Alberta Provincials in 5-pin back in the day. Nice. I love it. I haven't done 5-pin bowling in a long time.
We did invite you on the Facebook group.
Yeah, I know. And we had selected that we were coming.
Did you?
Yeah, we were going to come.
You're a family man with 2 kids, and I assumed, again, hockey and all that. I just didn't.
Well, we had 2 hockey.
I didn't push you. I didn't pressure you.
We had 2 hockey and a church thing on Saturday. So it turns out we just
you would have got
literally had
invited
nothing
as
going
well.
on.
Had I mean,
No worries, man. No worries. It's all
Next time,
good.
though.
Next time for sure.
Marshall and the Muzz have never been 5-pin bowling with us before. It would have been a lot of fun. And originally it was on the schedule, and then 3 other things took the day over.
Lucas says mini golf next time. He's.
Oh, that'd be a fun one too.
I'll keep you in the loop.
Mini golfing with kids is very frustrating though. Like they're just hitting the ball. Like I'm
Tough
trying
to
to
keep
keep
score.
score. And Marshall's hitting like 9. Elizabeth's walking around with her ball and just putting it down next and then tapping. I'm like, you guys, you're cheating. You're cheating. Stop it.
Where's the marshal when you need him?
Yeah, it drove me nuts. Casino dealer Jay is in this. Says Perry reminds me of Matt Hendricks, a guy that will just keep pushing the line forward, but he also reminds me of when we got Adam Oates. Not the prime player he used to be, but still needed. So, yeah, okay. I mean, I think overall you have to be happy.
But yeah,
I mean, it's 1 game right now, but it was pretty good. And I think it's very positive moving forward. The Wolf checking in from Harvest K. Belize. Don't need a conch because I'll find one on the beach and conch myself. Hey-oh! All right, let's mark it down. That'll be for Zacticum when he comes in. Harvest Caye. Belize. We don't have anything in Belize yet, do we? Somebody else said they're on the treadmill in Mexico this morning watching, but whereabouts in Mexico? We got a bunch of Mexico locations already pinned on the map.
The daily Mexico check-in.
Yeah.
Man, this Harvest K looks like paradise on earth here.
Really? Senior Boots is in and says, good morning, boys. Listening from Gold Canyon, Arizona. Map it. All right, Gold Canyon. We don't have that one yet.
Belize by Guatemala and Honduras.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're
very adventurous.
I don't mind.
Very adventurous. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. You know what else I did on the Lakers, Warriors. I know people are going to be like, enough of the basketball talk. I'm just starting. Hashtag Association City. But Lakers, Warriors on Saturday night, all-time regular season classic. Like double overtime. Steph goes off for like 46. LeBron finished with a 38-point triple-double that had 20 rebounds, a career high for rebounds for LBJ in year 21. It was just dialing back the clock a little bit. And it was awesome to see. Klay Thompson, he fouled out in like I think the second overtime, but he was amazing to watch. I know none of you are probably caring about this, but I'm telling you, watching Steph and LeBron exchange blows on Saturday night and ended with LeBron hitting a couple free throws with 1.2 seconds left in the second overtime to lock this thing up. It was just phenomenal. Steph had his shake and shimmy. Steph is like, it's almost like Sidney Crosby, even Tom Brady. Like Sidney Crosby early in his career, and if you used to listen to the show a long, long time ago, I was very pro Ovi and anti-Sid. And then over the years, you just respect the greatness, and you're just like, man, Sidney Crosby, and he's having a phenomenal season. And just like Sidney Crosby's great to watch. Tom Brady, I always hated when he was with New England, but he went to Tampa. I had time for Tom Brady. I was like, you know what, this dude is great, and I want to watch him over the rest of his career and enjoy it. And then it's kind of with Steph now. Like, just watching Steph Curry shoot a basketball is just a beautiful thing. And I still want to see him lose when they're playing the Lakers. But I've come around. Like, during the run with the Cavs and the Warriors, Steph was getting on my nerves so much it was ridiculous. But, yeah, watching Saturday night, I was just, like, appreciating the greatness that we were witnessing on that basketball court.
Well, the greatness continues tonight as the 9th place Lakers take on the 11th place Rockets, who are just 2 points back of 2 games back of the Lakers.
That's a big one.
The mid-table or lower mid-table battle continues.
I'll certainly be watching that.
Yeah, well, hey.
I'll certainly be watching that.
Got a lot of work to do here.
This text is in. That's a nasty chat, actually, from VR Montenegro. Is Sidney Crosby top 3 all time?
Just in people?
Like just as a guy,
like just general. Hey,
Sidney Crosby is a top 3 all time in fly under the radar superstar. Like even when they sort of plaster Crosby's face on brands,
if we're talking hockey,
it still kind of flies on the radar. But if we're just talking hockey, no, I don't think Sidney Crosby top 3 all time. I think Sidney Crosby's top 10 all time for sure. And we'll see where the dust settles here. Does he get himself into the conversation for top 5 of all time? I mean, maybe. I mean, but definitely, even right now, I'd say he's top 10. Trev, what do you think?
Yeah, I did a video like a while back. I had him 5th all time is where I had him. I think he could be top 3, but I don't know. It's tough. Like,
it's just tough with Mario, Wayne,
like those are your
order,
2,
and Bobby Orr.
Yeah, like
Bobby Orr is going to be like it's tough.
I think that's my 3 right there.
What say you? You can hit us up, 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Jimbo says top 7. Belineski says top 5 is Gretzky, Yager, Lemieux, Francis, and Orr. Crosby's easily top 10. Ron Francis. Belineski. Come on, man. What are we doing here?
I love throwing in
Are you trying to sneak something by me here? Yeah, that is the first time I've ever seen an NHL top 5 all-time list and saw Ronnie Francis mixed in.
And no Brian Leach?
What? How's Ronnie Francis slide into the top 5? What's going on here? That's wild. Gordo is in and says, I could deal with Steph Curry if he kept his effing mouth guard in his mouth. Either wear it or don't. Don't have it hanging out of your mouth. I do agree with that.
90% of athletes these days. You watching the football yesterday?
Yeah.
It's always out.
We'll get to your good, bad, and ugly in just a second here. Darren Dreger's coming up today. Yeah, let's lay this bad boy out. I haven't even really laid out the show today. Dregs is going to join us just after 7 o'clock this morning. We'll discuss, I don't know. The Oilers winning 16 in a row. Not bad. We'll get into that. Which team is going to be the first to kind of kickstart the trade deadline? We'll get into that with Dregs a little bit. That's always a fun question. Cool Bet Hotline of the day coming up. We'll go there. Mike Tanier is going to pop by around 7:40 today. 3 questions too many. Kind of easy trivia. Rashog is unable to join us. Oilers here on a little bit of a break, so Shoggy apparently getting out of town, so he's not going to be able to join us because they don't have the internet outside of Edmonton. And
when you're playing Settlers of Catan, though, you want to get all
true.
the modern
You have to be focused.
You got to be,
You have to be focused. And new smash hit segment in hour number 3. I says, pardon?
Pardon?
We launched this last week, and I'm just going to refer to her as the I says pardon lady. Emailed me over the weekend. It was just like, this is going really well. We already have one client, and we have another guy who's not eligible for 3 years. So like it's working.
Their
People are
website
like,
crashed.
I do need a pardon. So yeah, www.lawyer-central.com/pardons. And don't let some stupid little charge you got found guilty of and gave you a criminal record 10 years ago keep you from getting a job or getting a passport, whatever it is, getting out of the country, whatever. Lawyer Central will take care of you. So it's been great so far. Great response. They're pumped.
Yeah. If you phone them, ask who they would take first overall in a captain's draft, eh? Then
Yeah. Yeah, well, they really liked the line where I was like, not even Lawyer Central could get Brendan Gallagher off the hook. I was just like, damn it. You're right. That's true. 780-218-9999. Gordo's in it says, Ron Francis is a weird way to spell Rocket Richard.
Autocorrect, eh? Yeah.
Part of me is all of a sudden thinking that Belineski, who's been in the Nasty Chat for a long time, Belineski is some sort of relative of Ronnie Francis.
It's all coming out now.
Ron Francis had an excellent offensive career. I mean, we're probably selling Ron Francis a little bit short.
I love the way this show is going right now. It's the Ron Francis
No,
apology
this
show.
is not becoming a Ron Francis show.
Let's dig a little deeper into his career.
But Ron Francis finished with almost 1,800 career points. But he played 1,731 games. So he's slightly over a point per game. You roll through the 80s, probably got to be a little bit better than slightly over a point per game to, I don't know, get into the top 5 of all time.
Could you please get to the All-Star Player Draft mock draft?
Well, no, I want to spend this entire show on Ron Francis.
They mocked the All-Star Player Draft.
This is what happens. Who was mocking the what? Wait, I thought you were talking about our draft.
Oh no. NHL.com holds mock draft to gear up for real thing on All-Star Thursday.
I respect it. I'm a mock draft guy.
I know. That's
love
why I
mock
thought you'd be
drafts.
on this like a dog on a bone.
I mean, I specifically don't care about this mock draft.
That's-
but overall, I
of all the
support
mock
the mock
drafts,
draft
this is-
movement.
this is one I
so
could do
this is
without,
This is
yeah.
a weaker mock draft.
I'd rather the
Yeah.
captain's draft than this mock draft.
Well, exactly. Captain's draft will definitely
me?
move the needle more than mock NHL All-Star draft.
Come on.
Sorry to throw shade, but probably just a thing. Guys, top 5. Oh, RCA, come on. Mario 1, Bobby Orr 2, Sidney Crosby 3, Connor McDavid 4, Jaromir Jagr 5, Wayne Gretzky 6.
And he has a little fishing emoji at the end.
Why put Gretzky 6? Especially when you don't even have Ron Francis in your top 5.
Where's Kipper?
This is like Bernie Nichols coming on the show and saying it's easier to score goals now than it was when he was burying 70. Bernie Nichols with the funniest joke in the history of the show. That was a good time. All right, let's get into our good, bad, and ugly from the weekend. You can text us yours. Play along at home, as we like to say. Hit us up in the old PJ's inbox. Paris Jeweler, 780-218-9999. Tube Socks is in. It says, Michel Goulet, top 7. Let's get all of your players and bogus top all-time texts. Keep those rolling in. Andre Rasico, top 25 goalie all time. Convince me he's not.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah. All right. Good, bad, and ugly from the weekend, buddy. What do you got for your good?
My good is Championship Sunday that I got to watch at home, in the comfort of my own home.
Yes.
Being a homeowner now, too, which it strikes a little differently. But no, we used to be out giving away trips. And Championship Sunday was a big day. It was like it was a 2-game back-to-back. It was like a marathon of like trying to.
I don't even remember half of them over the last 10 years.
You had some classics. But yeah, it was a different speed this year, watching them both at home. Of course, we'll be at Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge for the Super Bowl in a couple Sundays' time. But and present company excluded, it was nice not to have any skin in the game. I'm over the Bills' loss. I'm a casual observer there. So that didn't take a long time to get over. I was ready for 2 good games. Maybe I got 1.5, arguably. But it was
Second
nice.
half of that first game was a
I
dud,
sat
yeah.
around, have a couple drinks. Nobody disturbed me. I didn't have any skin in the game. I did feel a bit for Maddie as the Ravens were losing, and I did issue the tweet that it would be funny watching him go around his house just with one arm trying to get mad. You know, how do you get mad with one arm? Like, how do you legitimately, like, I'm going to toss this, you know. So yeah, I kind of had a little. And then for yourself, I mean, that was just at halftime. Like, my folks, can you believe this? My dad says. And he, too, was actually 6 o'clock or longer. He was going, that beer you guys made, is it?
Of course it is. Well, that's my good.
And he used to sell beer for a living. What? So this is coming from a.
So he knows.
He was
Takes one to know one. It's a saying.
But it was halftime, and he's like, "I can't believe the Lions." I'm like, "Yeah, well, yeah, another half long, a lot of football, and then so that happened." But just for me, the viewing experience was great, and I enjoyed every second of it, every snap.
My good is the 6 o'clocker lager buzz that I saw all over Twitter this weekend. Like the 6 o'clocker lager, you know, when it first comes out, obviously it gets a good push, but like the 6 o'clocker lager is still gaining momentum. I think we're starting to creep into like mainstream beer guides as opposed to just like nasties who are buying it.
My dad's giving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, the places that have it on tap, they're crushing it. It's going to be with us at the casino in Cannes for the Super Bowl party, which will be good. Yeah, I think it's actually starting to take like that next step, which is absolutely incredible. Plus, it's living a way better life than any of us. Like I saw it ice fishing this weekend.
Oh.
It was at a Quonset party this weekend. It's been down in Mexico already. Like it's just living a great life right now, the 6 o'clocker lager. I wish we could have put like a little camera on every can and just kind of saw what it was seeing. You know?
And it still hasn't experienced anything above like 10 degrees, like different locales.
Yeah.
But here in Edmonton and area.
Wait until like the
Oh,
6
my
o'clocker
goodness.
lager hasn't been on a boat yet.
On a 22-degree day for you.
It was on a golf course in Lethbridge in like November.
But
I mean, that's different than
flirting with it all.
30
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
sunshine, man. That's different than like the EST golf tournament.
This thing's
and
gonna
we're all just
transform.
crushing 6
Yeah,
o'clocker lagers. Like, are you kidding me? So yeah, my good is just the continued buzz for the 6 o'clocker lager. It's also priced. It's priced just a little bit below some of the other 4-packs, so you're getting a pretty good deal on it as well. Chef's kiss. All right, what's your bad from the weekend?
My bad is the Oilers don't play again until I mean, look, it's not like the league's broke now for All-Star. We got Ottawa-Nashville tonight, the lone game. And then Tuesday, stay with me here, the Blues at home to Columbus, Kraken on the road in San Jose. And then Wednesday, you finish off with a final 3. Detroit at home to Ottawa, Nashville hosting the Kings, and Anaheim welcoming in the Sharks. They do it in football all the time. Flex a game, flex one out, flex one in.
You can't tell me the NHL is not trying to bury every single one of those games. Like, they know nobody's really going to be paying attention to the league.
This week sucks.
Yeah, this schedule sucks this week.
But at
in
least
the
you
NHL.
can be part of the party, or lack thereof a better term. It's not a party, but if the Oilers at least were incorporated to a degree, it could be palatable. But at least just go dark. I don't need this handful of, muck.
My bad. And I don't necessarily like to criticize other football broadcasters, but I am done with Tony Romo.
Why?
Because I'm not sure he brings anything of substance to the role anymore. Like, he just blurts out random things. I know when he first came on, he was like predicting plays, and everybody was like, this guy is the greatest color man of all time. I got sucked in by that a little bit too.
He told you what was happening before it happened.
This is pretty impressive, like when it first came out. Then I realized he doesn't really break down the game at all. It's just like, well, big play here, Jim. It's just the same thing over and over again. I feel like I got fooled by Tony Romo for at least a year or two, and now I'm sitting here watching the game like Greg Olsen is way better than Tony Romo. Not even close. So, yeah, I don't know. I was just disappointed watching that first game, and I don't know, Romo just
doesn't do it for you anymore.
Doesn't do it for me anymore, man.
Yeah,
it's my bad.
I didn't. Nance, though, and Gene, like, it's a nice... It's a nice grouping, hey, though. You got to, like, if he didn't have Nance.
Well, Nance is a star. I mean, he's a GOAT.
Olsen for Romo straight up today. You're making that deal. If you're.
Well, Olsen's being replaced by Brady next year.
No, but
so
if
I don't
you
know what
just
they do.
Fantasy-wise, like today.
Yeah, 100%. Like, if you go back and watch that first game. Tell me what Tony Romo brings to the game. How does he break down the game?
I'll give you one. Put on a Belichick. With Nance.
Well, he's going to revolutionize the broadcast game, I heard.
I saw him on College Game Day. He's low-key great. Like, he's a different Bill.
Great analyst? Or is he actually funny, too?
The whole thing, he's got it all. Like, you wouldn't think that's Bill Belichick. Like, Coach Bill Belichick and, like, what's going to be analyst Bill Belichick or commentator, whatever it is.
You got time for it?
I have lots of time for this. After the brief moments that I've seen of him on College Game Day.
All right, what's your ugly from the weekend?
Ugly, I'll go to soccer. FA Cup, the fan business. Ooh, did you see some of that stuff rolling out?
Nope.
Boy, oh boy. Maidstone United, Conference League. So this is like rec league hockey, right? You're doing it. You're beating like the last place team in the NHL. That's what they did. They brought all their fans to this visiting place. One fan was celebrating so hard, he fell down. He fell over the railing, rolled down the awning, and then fell on top of the lower level. I got a video of that. And then the worst part of it all was the Black Country derby between Wolverhampton Wanderers and West Bromwich Albion. They call them the Baggies. Up the Baggies, they say. This got nuts because there were opposing fans in the home section. So when the other team scored, they all started chanting, and everybody started fighting. One guy was led away with blood going down his head. One person was let off with a stretcher. One lady, she was so wasted, she went out in the middle of the pitch and tried like getting the ball. She got a ball and she tried like dinking it between the legs of a security guard. She missed. Just failed horribly, and everybody's like, you loser. So that the FA Cup fan business was it was very naughty across the pond.
My ugly will be, and I already said on the show earlier today, I ride or die with Dan Campbell. I was fine with the decisions that he made, but my ugly is still blowing a 17-point lead. That hurt. That one stung, and it'll take a long time to get over that. So that's my ugly. No matter how it went down, whether their defense can stop the Niners, ball bouncing off a head, a fumble, whatever. That was ugly. That was an ugly pill to swallow. It was great to watch my team in that game, but to get the hope that I had after the first half, to let it slip away, that was ugly.
I just retweeted the guy that fell down the
I'm going to go watch that right now.
Comical.
We got a Sports Rewind coming up. Second hour of the show today. More of your thoughts on Corey Perry's debut with the Edmonton Oilers. And one of the things we'll ask Dreger is, because I know a lot of people are still like, they got to be in the market for another forward. Do they? Do they? We'll get into that. Probably, but I mean, who knows? Who knows? But yeah, right? secondary. If you go pause, repeat same thing, it really hits. Sports Rewind coming up with LT. Darren Dreger on the other side for Pro-Am Sports.
49ers off to the Super Bowl. They knock off the Lions 34-31 to advance to Super Bowl 58. Earlier in the day, the Chiefs advancing as well to their 4th Super Bowl in 5 years, hanging on to defeat Baltimore 17-10. You can join Edmonton Sports Talk for Super Bowl 58 at the Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Centric Casino, Fort Road, February 11th. 6 o'clock or lager in the can. Menu items under $10 and prizing throughout the day. Just a pair of games in the NHL yesterday. Braden Shen scoring in overtime. Blues topped the Kings 4-3. Jordan Eberle with a 3-point afternoon. Kraken double up Columbus 4-2. Oilers capturing win 16 in a row Saturday afternoon over Nashville. The club enters the All-Star break. They'll chase 17 straight wins as they're down in Vegas next Tuesday. Ottawa hosts Nashville tonight in the lone game. Rowan Woodward with the winner as the Oil Kings knock off the Wheat Kings 5-4 in overtime from Rogers Place. The club gets set to visit Lethbridge tomorrow. Minnesota beating New York 2-1 in overtime in PWHL action. Minnesota tied for top spot in the league with Montreal. Action will resume Saturday as the PWHL 3-on-3 showcase will take place Thursday in Toronto. AJHL action yesterday. Camrose 4-1 victors up in Grand Prairie. Whitecourt drop one on the road 5-3 in Calgary. And Drumheller over Bonnyville 5-4. Action resumes tomorrow night when Bonnyville visit Fort McMurray. NBA Raptors drop one in the final seconds, 126-125 to the Knicks. 12 games around the association tonight. The Raps are back on the court tomorrow when they visit the Bulls, looking to shake a 5-game slide. Sports Update brought to you by Universal Rewind, reminding you that regular motor maintenance will prevent costly downtime. Contact them today to learn more about their motor maintenance services. Choose experience, expertise, and quality. Choose Universal Rewind.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
.702 on the Nielson Show. Dustin Nielson and Lieutenant Eric with you. You can text us anytime. 780-218-9999. That gets you in the Paris Jewelers inbox. We're coming at you from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio, where their wings are about as red hot as the mighty Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers have obviously been rolling so far, 16 in a row. You win 8, then you lose 3, then you win 8, then you win 8 again. 24-3 in their last 27, which is absolutely insane. Over at Popeyes right now, get that Oilers Collector's Cup. They've got 4 of them. Hopefully you got the Hyman one. That one's gone now. You had to get the Hyman one. Nurse, Ekholm, Nuge in that order. Get them at Popeyes. Part of that Oilers meal, you will get a spicier regular chicken sandwich. You'll get the nugs. You get the Cajun fries. You get the dipping sauce. You get the medium drink. And you get the Oilers Collector's Cup as well. 4 of them to collect. 780-218-9999. Hit us up in the nasty chat as well. Darren Dreger is our hockey insider today, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned sports memorabilia and apparel specialists. You can find them just north of the Yellowhead on St. Albert Trail at 128th Ave, or visit them online at proamsports.ca. Like you, they are sports nerds and AM nasties too. Dregs, happy Monday, 16 in a row for the Edmonton Oilers. This is ridiculous at this point. What are you supposed to say anymore? It's nuts.
Yeah, just like you drew it up before the start of the year, right? You thought that the Oilers would struggle mightily out of the gate for 15 games or so, and then kind of flip a switch and off they go. I mean, it's beyond ridiculous what they've accomplished to this point. Not just to play their way back into the playoff mix. I mean, that was possible given a few games they played when they were struggling as much as they struggled. But where they're at now at this point of the regular season, you know, it's easy to erase all the ugly that opened the season for the organization. And now everybody legitimately is looking at this team rightfully so, as a top Stanley Cup contender. And you're wondering, okay, well, is there something else that Kenny Holland might add between now and March 8th? But then you look at it the other way and you're like, all right, well, chemistry clearly isn't a problem for this team. It's one of their strengths. So how much more meddling is necessary, or do you just leave it alone because everything seems to be running on full cylinders right now?
Yeah, that'll be a discussion that we'll have a lot this week as we wait for them to play again. They'll have a chance at 17 in Vegas next Tuesday, which should be good. We're taking our shows down there for 3 days that week. So hopefully we'll be there when they do it, which will be a pretty good buzz, I think, for the city if they can get that done. Corey Perry is one of those pieces that they're going to try to work in. Put him on the third line with Dylan Holloway and Ryan McLeod. Actually looked pretty good. If Corey Perry just settles in as the veteran on a third line with two guys who don't have a lot of playoff experience, I mean, I really don't know if you need much more than that from Corey Perry, right?
I don't think you do. The one thing about Corey Perry, and you know, he's adapted to his game and what is needed from him as well as any other player that I can think of. You know, now obviously he's in the back nine of his NHL career, but you know, he's not the player that he once was offensively. You know, when he broke into the league, he was a dynamic producer. And now in the last 5+ years, he's just found a way to be impactful, to be a difference maker, but in utilizing a different skill set. He can still create some offense. And, you know, if you need him to be net front on the power play, you know, he's still very nimble with his stick. You know, the deflection, the hands are still there. He's not nearly as swift as he once was. But also, you know, you need that role of the agitator. You need that physicality that he can deliver. There are so many strengths that Corey Perry brings to the equation. And on top of that, of course, is the experience that he brings, another layer of leadership, if you will. But just as important as any of that, you know, there are going to be nights, there are going to be games where, you know, age just takes over. And he doesn't have as much in the tank as, you know, he would want. And his ice time might have to be minimized, but he's okay with that too, because he recognizes better than anybody the place in the lineup, the place in the career. So I think it's an excellent ad. And any top contending team, any playoff worthy team would have at the very least kicked tires on Corey Perry, right? It's not like, you know, Edmonton was his only option. But he wanted to go where he knew he'd be a good fit and he'd have his best opportunity to win another Stanley Cup.
Well, and Darren, just continuing on from this, where do you see Kenny Holland maybe going from here? I know goaltending was a discussion all season. Stuart Skinner again pick up another win. Kelvin Pickard showing really well the other night, so that may have cooled a few fans and maybe improving on that front. But is it more forward depth along the blue line? If you were to take a guess or a stab, where do you think Kenny Holland goes shopping next?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question, and you're dealing with limited space here, right?
Yeah.
So it's the old cliche of dollar in, dollar out. So I don't know that Kenny Holland knows specifically what he's after. You know, yeah, in a perfect world, if the cap wasn't an issue, or you can find that fit where the dollars add up, you maybe like to add somebody that can play alongside Leon Draisaitl, but good luck doing that because you're talking about a higher quality player, and the mechanics of making that work are going to be tricky. But, you know, we've talked about this on the segment before. Holland deserves a ton of credit for, you know, how he navigated through the Matthias Ekholm trade, right? Like that was a good old fashioned hockey trade and they had to make it all work and they found a way to make it work and, you know, it improved the Oilers blue line immensely when Ekholm arrived on the scene. Could there be something where you utilize, parts of your future to make a deal make sense that lands you a better forward? I think Kenny is most definitely open to that. There wouldn't be a playoff team out there that doesn't look at their blue line and go, okay, well, we can always use depth, right? I mean, that's just a staple for success in the playoffs. I think the goaltending thing, though, unless something changes here dramatically, and that can change by way of injury, you know, goaltenders kind of get hot and then they get cold. I don't think that they're looking to spend resource on the goaltending in Edmonton because, you know, you do have Jack Campbell, who, you know, has been hot and cold, speaking of hot and cold, in the American League. Yeah. But the tandem of Cal Pickard and Stu Skinner has been terrific of late. So I don't think that Holland is looking to add anything there because he does have a level of insurance when the playoffs come around of Jack Campbell in the American League.
Darren Dreger with us on the show this morning. He's our hockey insider, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. You know, when it comes to the Oilers and all these other teams at the deadline, whether it comes from a buying perspective or a selling perspective, Dregs, which is the team that you think gets it all going or that everybody's watching over the next couple weeks?
Yeah, there's a couple of teams. Columbus would have been high on my list, but then all of a sudden you've got the Patrick Laine news comes out that he's gone away from the club and entered the program to look after what reads as his mental health, based on the information he supplied on his Instagram account. And as I reported last Thursday on Insider Trading, Laine wasn't being shopped. They're not looking to dump a piece like that or Ivan Provorov. But Jarmo Kekalainen knows that he's got a listen on just about everything outside of his younger players like Adam Fantilli, et cetera. They're not moving those pieces. But could they be a big player or a bigger player on the trade deadline? And I think the answer to that is yes. A real kind of tricky time for the Calgary Flames as well. They're in a stretch where they've got to figure out, do they sit tight, maybe move out one of their pending unrestricted free agents, or use them as own rentals and try and push to get into the playoffs. One thing that Craig Conroy has reminded us repeatedly since being named general manager is that he's not, using or not using assets. That there's no good in having players just walk out of your organization. So Calgary, of course, would be another. And even though the Philadelphia Flyers continue to be a curious read right now, right? I mean, I don't think that Flyers management expected that they'd be a playoff worthy team. They are still committed to making some necessary changes to get a little bit younger and to improve their foundation. And they'll do that with probably Sean Walker. Makes the most sense. The market just hasn't fully exposed as to what teams are willing to pay to acquire an offensive defenseman like Sean Walker. Flyers think they can get a first-round pick. Nobody wants to give up that first-round pick for Sean Walker just yet, but they might as we get closer to the deadline.
Our focus is always on the Oilers, but with the Canucks and Jets being legit contenders in the West as well, do you expect them to try to alter things at all or kind of ride with what they've got?
Yeah, no, I think it's possible for both those clubs. Vancouver is in the market for a top six forward. Again, tricky business, right? Winnipeg, they'd like to add a second line center, but for Winnipeg, just getting healthy again is going to feel like a real good shot in the arm. I know that they were hoping that they would have Mark Scheifele back into the mix this past weekend, and that wasn't the case. He's real close, so they're probably being a little extra sensitive to just make sure that whatever's been bugging him isn't going to nag him for the rest of the regular season. But, Winnipeg isn't happy with the way they played in that series against the Toronto Maple Leafs, so there's probably a bit of soul searching, maybe a bit of a wake-up call for the Winnipeg Jets. But those are the two clubs that you mentioned, Dusty, that not much different than Edmonton. Yeah, they see areas that they could improve on up front. Does that mean that they have to improve? Is it a necessity in Winnipeg? No. Is it a necessity in Vancouver? No. But you also don't want, real good seasons to kind of fall apart, because you weren't bold or aggressive. But, we had Rick Bowness on the Ray and Dregs Hockey Podcast last week, and he talked about how finicky chemistry can be, right? So you got to be mindful and you have to be careful of that. So again, it's not like Winnipeg and Vancouver are looking at the success of the season and going, it's been a fluke and they've overachieved. They're not looking at that at all. They're saying, no, we've been good. And if there's a way of making this better, then we'll consider that. But it's not a burning need at this stage.
Dregs, last one for you. And we haven't really talked about this team much, but the Boston Bruins have 9 regulation losses so far this season. I know they had just a ridiculous year last year as well. Many people thought they would fall off somewhat. They haven't. So how have they managed to do that?
Well, phenomenal coaching and commitment and buy-in from the players, right? When things aren't going well for teams, and I automatically am thinking of some criticism that Sheldon Keefe of the Toronto Maple Leafs took recently when Toronto wasn't playing that well. And he was trying to mix it up and he was sending messages and doing all of these things. Watch the Boston Bruins play a game. Jim Montgomery will have wingers starting on the wing, and 5 minutes later, they're at center. And I'm thinking of Morgan Geekie, and I'm thinking of Frederick, and I'm thinking of all of these pieces that seem to be interchangeable. But the reason it works in Boston is because the players just buy in. They know that it's non-negotiable. Here's the way that we are structured to play, and that's how we have to commit to playing to be successful. And there's no secret in that. And again, it's a commitment. It's full buy-in from the players. And, by doing that, that takes some of the heat off their blue line, which is better than perhaps they're given credit for, with the exception of one or two key pieces there. And then their goaltending, of course, whether it's Ullmark or Swayman, is superior. Just terrific. So, I'm looking, you asked the question about who's going to be, one of the trigger teams, as we get into the real busy frame after the All-Star of the trade deadline looming. And I look at Boston, I look at Colorado. The fact that the Boston Bruins continue to win the way that they do, and you look up the middle of the ice, and they're relatively inexperienced there. I mean, Pavel Zach is a winger. He's played center mostly this season for the Boston Bruins. So I could see Boston taking a hard swing at Lindholm, maybe Sean Monahan. I don't see Boone Jenner being pried from the Columbus Blue Jackets because he's a heart and soul guy. But those are the pieces that you can envision Don Sweeney and the Boston Bruins going after.
Excellent. Good stuff, Dregs. When's the next pod drop?
Likely tomorrow, being Tuesday, but it's going to be a bit different. Ray Ferraro has earned a much-needed break. I think he's on a golf holiday this week, right? So
you don't get the invite, eh? You don't get the invite?
No. We're in negotiations now with Jeff O'Neill, the O-Dog.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he might sit in for a couple of episodes of the Ray and Dregs pod this week. So one of them will drop tomorrow for sure.
All right, man. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, have a good week, guys.
There you go. That's Darren Dreger with TSN, Ray and Dregs podcast as well. It does very well. If you want to check that out, they got great hockey content over there with the Ray and Dregs pod. Belineski in the Nasty Chat says, Dregs will agree with Francis top 5, guaranteed. Man, Belineski, I hope you die on this hill. I hope you're laying in a hospital bed whenever. You're 95 years old, and you're laying there, and your great-grandchild says, Papa Joe, tell me one thing that's ridiculous. And you say, Ron Francis, he was top 5. Top 5 in the National Hockey League. It's
not ridiculous at all.
No. And at that age, you sound ridiculously close to Goose Gossett.
Sure. Oh, that was it. Yeah. We should have reached out to O-Dog to fill in for Rashog today.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something? God. I should have reached out to Strutty. I totally forgot that Rashog wasn't around until last night at 9 o'clock.
Well, if he would have texted you, you would have maybe made
yeah, that's right. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. It will be very interesting. What do we got, boys? Deadline March 8th?
Friday, March 8th.
We'll have full deadline coverage here, obviously, at Edmonton Sports Talk. We're also going to have a lot of CFL free agency coverage. The tampering window opens February 4th, by the way, in the Canadian Football League, which is exciting. So I was DMing back and forth with the Puckpedia guys yesterday, trying to get to the bottom of exactly where the Oilers are at with the cap space. So let me lay this out here for you, because they've sent down Holloway and Kemp right now just to save $80,000 here over the next little while. If they were for some reason, this isn't even a thing. If Holloway and Kemp stayed down and they just ran a 20-man roster from now until the deadline, they could add a $4 million player at the deadline. They would have accumulated that much cap space. Assuming Holloway and Kemp will be back up here when they fire things back up in Vegas. At the deadline, if both those guys are recalled here in 9 days, at the deadline, if they don't make any other roster moves until then, so if they just roll Kemp as a 7 and Holloway's back up and they just keep that roster the same between now and the deadline, the Oilers would be able to add a cap hit of $1.06 million at the deadline. So I didn't do the math on this. This comes from Puckpedia crew. They know exactly what's going on. So if the Oilers continue to run with the roster that they were running pre this break, after the break up to the deadline, they would be able to add a cap hit of $1.06 million at the deadline without having to go money in, money out. Anything beyond that will have to be some retention, will have to be some money in, money out So let's just play they don't even have to get overly creative game, and you got $1 million to spend at the deadline. Are you spending that $1 million on a depth defenseman? Or are you spending that $1 million on a bottom six forward? If you were going to add a top six forward, obviously it would have to be a pretty good chunk of money going out the other way, or significant retention, or something along those lines. But Eric, if it is only $1 million and that's what they have to spend at the deadline, are you doing it on another forward that at this point for $1 million, you're basically just bringing in a fourth liner?
Yeah.
That's it. Or are you bringing in a veteran number 7 defenseman who makes like $1 million?
I'd look at the blue line.
Yeah. Just as like
just
an insurance
more
policy.
Of a safe play. I think if you're looking at, again, if you're using that money to look at something depth-wise on your forward group, and we're talking like depth, I'd rather use and insulate that depth on the blue line as opposed to. But again, show me the names. I guess show me a list of potential names in each position. I might be able to get swayed, but in this case, with that much money, I just insurance up the blue line and away you go.
What say you? 780-218-9999, 780-218-99 on anything from that discussion with Darren Dreger. If you want to chime in, 780-218-9999. Guys, but isn't that $1 million prorated as in the guy you can bring in being $3 million in the year but has $1 million in salary left? No, according to the guys at Puckpedia, and like I said, this is being sent to me from Puckpedia, it would be like $300,000 in the cap space prorated to get $1 million cap hit. So so your logic on that is correct, but the number still only ends up being $1 million.
Ryan from Saskatchewan asked, could potentially do both with half retained.
Yeah, I mean, you could get $1 million forward, $1 million D-man if both teams were to retain a decent amount. RCN is in and says, Nick Dowd from Bob Stauffer. Man, Staff gets it. Staff will throw out like 10 names. They'll get one and be like, I was right. I love it. It's brilliant. That's right. It's absolutely brilliant.
Try and find a Ron Francis type and then bring home the cup. Comes in from Pat in the county.
I want the guy who was in the nasty chat and said the Oilers signed Ron Francis league minimum. Send that into the inbox. That could be text of the day for A&W. Let's be honest. It's a pickle party here. It's a Ron Francis party today. Send your most ridiculous Oilers getting tied to Ron Francis texts. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999.
Patrick Kane text.
No, there's not.
Oh, there is.
Why?
If the Red Wings fall out of the playoff race, is Patrick Kane an option? And what would the acquisition cost be? Would look perfect on 29's right.
Nah, I don't think this team needs.
I think we're out of that.
I think we're beyond Patrick Kane talk.
Yeah, that was a thing. But
I think we even at the best of times were stretching on the Patty Kane talk.
Yes,
let alone now.
Yeah.
Right, that's just no. I think that's no. Interesting when he said the Bruins and Lindholm. That seems like such a Bruins move, right? Bruins don't hesitate adding significant pieces. Lindholm would be an interesting one.
And the Flyers too.
Bruins.
5 straight losses now to kind of creep back down to where they should be. Maybe that happens sooner than later.
I like that fit a lot, honestly. With Lindholm, like, he really strives with having like players to play with, and we saw that when Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Tkachuk, like, that was the best line in all of hockey. Like, he's not necessarily a driver, and we've kind of seen that since those two have left. He's not been putting, like, he was a 40-goal scorer with those guys, and he scored his first goal in 20 games. So he's struggling a little bit, but man, having him and Pasternak, like Elias Lindholm and Pasternak, that would be a really good look. And they need the center, and he can play. He's pretty reliable defensively. So I like Lindholm a lot. There's in a dream world, that would be.
It's impossible for the Oilers to get that done. Like, that would never, ever happen.
No, but he's such a good complementary player.
He'd be a great round out to the top 6, man.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like if you have this top 6 dream right now, you should probably wake up, have a little bit of reality check. Like, it's gonna be hard for them to bring in a top six player. I mean, because you'd have to move the money out.
Yeah. No, it's set
And you
in
don't really
stone.
want to move anybody off this roster right now, right? Like, of top 9 forwards.
Yeah. I think the way things are going, Dusty, honestly, I said it in the post game and in pre, Dylan Holloway, I've been preaching him quite a bit.
Yeah.
I really do think, maybe near the end of the season we start seeing him in the top 6, but I really do think the Oilers have a player.
From where this team was when they started the streak and when they started turning the season around, they have added Dylan Holloway and Corey Perry to that mix. I mean, that's 2 top 9 forwards for you right there. So I don't know. I think overall we will probably end up viewing this deadline as kind of underwhelming. But in the end, that also might not be the end of the world with how well the team has been playing.
Imagine if Connor Brown finds his game.
Yeah. That's a
Well,
I honestly don't think he's scoring a goal this whole season.
we're going to go through the whole.
Yeah,
well,
like,
his
we
role
need
is
to- we
just
need to
gonna
start-
continue to get dialed back.
Yeah,
a little bit,
like in Dylan Holloway's last 2 games, he's looked way more noticeable than Connor Brown has all season.
guys, we're getting a top 6 forward. Deal with it. That's in from Red this morning. Guys, Broberg in a first rounder probably could fetch you a decent return if a team is willing to retain. Yeah, but once again, you're not moving a lot of salary out there. And if they retain, you only got that $1 million in space at the deadline to fit somebody in. So, yeah, and maybe Ken Holland can get insanely creative. You have a third team involved, 2 teams are retaining, and you can pull the trigger on something that just makes deadline day awesome, which would be great. But I don't see that being the route that he would go. Plus, overall, they don't really need. They don't like the core that will win you the Stanley Cup is here. The top 9 is here. Your blue line is essentially here. Your starting goaltender is here. So now they're just picking around the edges, try to add around the edges.
Adding insurance and in case, again, we've said too, this has been a very healthy hockey team to this point. I know LTIR has been bandied about in the inbox, but you can't. Somebody's got to get hurt before you even entertain that kind of action, right?
Like the Oilers are like they won't lose in the playoffs because Fogle or Perry are in their top 6. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to look at like when it's all said and done. If they don't win the Stanley Cup, they get eliminated second, third, cup final, whatever. I don't think we're all going to come in here and be like, you know where they screwed up? By not adding more offense in the top 6. I don't see that being the difference when it's all said and done. So, yeah, you can chime in on this, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. This text is in and says, if Connor Brown could get going, he could put up Ron Francis type numbers. The potential is there. That's in from La Bamba Guy taking a run at text of the day today. Breaking, Oilers signed Francis to bolster 4th line. Wait, I'm not hearing it's not Ron Francis, but it's Eric Francis. Looking to get more annoying to play against, according to sources. 780-218-9999 if you want to chime in there. Let's get to your Cool Bet hotline of the day. Should note, the line is out for the Super Bowl if you want to bet it early. Very, very, very early. The total is set at 47.5 points. The San Francisco 49ers are a minus 118 money line favorite. The Chiefs plus 100 as the dog. The spread right now is just a single point. So we are looking at basically a flip 'em for the Super Bowl, which should be good. Anyway, those odds are already out over at Coolbet. I think it opened with the Niners being a little bit more of a favorite, but right now they sit at a 1-point favorite. We said earlier, late night in the National Hockey League.
Light week.
If you're looking for games to bet, might have to be an association type of city. Is there anything going on in all these make-believe cups that you guys have in soccer?
Yeah, well, FA Cup, 4th round today. Hollywood FC, otherwise known as Wrexham. Hey, they have that documentary out with the the Ryan Reynolds
Yes,
guy,
yes,
right?
I wanna
And,
watch that stuff.
Rob McElhenney. They're traveling to Blackburn to take on Ewood Park, Blackburn Rovers.
Is this what Matty was talking about, Mr. Lean on Friday?
Last I heard, they're bringing 7,000 with them, the Wrexham fans from Wales, and then Blackburn had only sold 5,000. They probably sold more, but that's going to be a ruckus atmosphere. It's later this afternoon on Sportsnet. I don't know if there's anything up there for that match, but that'll be the one today I'll be keeping an eye on.
Here we are. Here's the numbers. Wrexham to win, plus 375. Goal totals set at 3, with the under at plus 115, the over at minus 141. And for Wrexham to lose by 1 in the 3-way spread, plus 130. Does Wrexham keep it close?
Yeah, I with the momentum behind them and everything, and Blackburn aren't exactly lighting the world on fire. They're 18th in the championship table right now, on a bad run of form as well. 3 losses and a couple draws. I don't know. This is fun to watch because it's everything behind them, right? The Hollywood, the cameras, all the storylines and such. So I could at least see them maybe getting a draw and getting that replay.
Should we bet the draw?
Back to the racecourse ground.
A replay.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that then today. Let's do that. I was gonna get in on the Lakers game. They play the Rockets. But Anthony Davis, I think his status is a little up in the air, so that one's off the books just briefly. He was grinding it out again. By the way, I got to get in. I'm going to save it for I Got Beef. Draymond Green, what a plug. That guy drives me nuts. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. He averages 8 points per game in his career. You kidding me with this guy? Anyway, okay, let's do it then. Let's get in on the draw. Wrexham and Blackburn, plus 275, and we'll cheer for a draw today to get the replay.
Come on, Wrexham.
And then you know what we'll do? We'll bet the replay, which will be amazing as well. All right, let's get to a sports update for Park Mazda. When we come back, more of your text messages on the Edmonton Oilers. They've won 16 in a row. They've won 24 of their last 27. Do they actually need to make any moves prior to the deadline? What say you? Hit us up at the Nasty Chat. We're at 780-218-9999. And if you want to talk about the Chiefs beating the Ravens or the Niners beating my beloved Detroit Lions, let's go. Come on, let's go. I said I'm dying with. I mean, we did yesterday with Dan Campbell, but I'm not leaving that guy's side. I back everything he did yesterday. Actually, there's one thing that he did that I did not like.
Just one.
There's just one thing. It has nothing to do with fourth downs.
Wow.
We'll get into that at some point here, but let's get to a sports update for Park Mazda with Lieutenant Eric.
49ers rallying to knock off the Lions 34-31 in the NFC Championship game. Earlier in the day, the Chiefs advancing to their 4th Super Bowl in 5 years, hanging on to defeat the Ravens 17-10. Chiefs and Niners for Super Bowl 58. You can join the entire Edmonton Sports Talk crew for this game at the Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, Centric Casino Fort Road, February 11th. Menu items under $10. 6 o'clock or lager in the can. Your chance at prizes throughout the day. Pair of games in the NHL yesterday. Blues over the Kings 4-3 in overtime. Jordan Eberle with 3 points. Kraken doubling up Columbus 4-2. Oilers capturing win 16 in a row Saturday afternoon over Nashville. The club entered the All-Star break. They'll look to chase down 17 straight wins next Tuesday down in Vegas. Just one game around the NHL tonight as Ottawa hosts Nashville. Rowan Woodward with the winner as the Oil Kings defeat the Wheat Kings 5-4 in overtime down at Rogers Place. The club will visit Lethbridge tomorrow to battle the Hurricanes. PWHL action saw Minnesota beat New York 2-1 in overtime. Minnesota tied for top spot in the league with Montreal on 15 points. League action will resume on Saturday. 3 games in the AJ yesterday. Whitecourt dropping one on the road in Calgary 5-3. Camrose 4-1 winners up in Grand Prairie, and Drumheller edging out Bonnyville 5-4. Action resumes tomorrow night when Bonnyville visit Fort Mac. Raptors dropping one in the final seconds, 126-125 to the Knicks. Raps look to shake a 5-game slide as they visit the Bulls tomorrow. 12 games around the NBA later tonight. Sports Update brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and Mitch Lewicki, where Mitch Lewicki's already left for Super Bowl 58, driving a Mazda down to Las Vegas.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a ninja fighting off evil samurai.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
I've got something under my skin, and the itch won't go away. It's my original sin, the poison that I crave. Come along for the ride, I'd make you feel better. Cut the rope that I tied, but then I broke my skin again. You got me fiending for that first high, but the feeling's not the same. You got me stealing, killing, I die, just to feel you in my veins.
Nielson Show rolls on. Dusty, Lieutenant Eric, that's Whale and the Wolf, if you're not yet checked them out. They're very good musicians. You can find their stuff on Spotify. Lots of the messages have rolled in on this Lions loss yesterday to the Niners, and we'll get to a few of those. But like I said earlier, Dan Campbell's my guy. I know people are going to look at Dan Campbell's ego this, Dan Campbell's ego that. Dan Campbell's ego has got the Lions to where they are, man. This is who they are. The Lions are an extremely aggressive team.
You ride or die with it.
If Reynolds catches the one that should have been caught, it was thrown right here, they convert on fourth down. Everybody goes, my God, the ball's on Dan Campbell. They're putting out all those gifs of him with those balls in a wheelbarrow, and it's they had it. Reynolds had it. He just didn't catch it. The call was fine.
Thoughts there? Execution?
Execution on that one. The only one I didn't like was at the end of the game where they ran the ball and had to use a timeout to stop the clock. Should have thrown the ball there, kept your 3 timeouts, then you wouldn't have had to rely on the onside kick. So,
but you know what, Campbell,
that was the only thing.
They'll be working on that stuff today. Guaranteed.
I mean, somebody in there said, Dan Campbell, worst coach ever. Are you kidding me? Dan Campbell's a phenomenal coach. Look where he's taken the Lions. They were absolute trash when he took over. They're an NFC Championship game in which they had a lead. The other thing that pissed me off, somebody was like, oh, the Niners didn't even show up in the first half. Oh, of course, yeah. That's it. The Niners just didn't show up in the first half. And then the Lions didn't show up in the second half. What are we trying to prove here?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? The Lions ran the ball down the Niners' throat in the first half. And then what happened? A deep shot from Purdy that was significantly overthrown bounces off of a Lion defender's helmet right into the waiting arms of Brandon Ayuk. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, the rookie, fumbles the ball. That's the ball game. That's where all the momentum got zapped away. So I don't care about the fourth down conversions. That's who the Detroit Lions are. For many of you, this might have been the first time all season you watched a Lions game. There was no doubt in my mind he wasn't going to go for it. I was surprised he took the field goal at the end of the first half. I thought he was going to go for there from the 2. And if they would have punched it in there, they would have had more points, and they wouldn't have to worry about the fourth down later. So
you remove the third quarter from that game, and you're laughing. But they're not all the Oilers, right? They're not all the Oilers. You got to play the full game. You can't just fool around for a...
So if people thought I was going to come on today and rip Dan Campbell, there's zero chance of that happening. Dan Campbell's a phenomenal head coach. I totally back his aggressiveness, and this time it didn't work out. Live by the sword, die by the sword. They died by the sword this time around. And Smitty the Welder says if they kick the 2 field goals, the game is over. They didn't kick it wouldn't have been 2 field goals in the final minute of the game, and all of a sudden they guaranteed the win. The first one to Reynolds, he should have caught the ball. And then on the second one, I still wouldn't have kicked it. Do you not know who Badgley is? He's an awful kicker. He's 1 for 5 on grass since 2020. And he's 33% from 50-plus in his career. That would have been a 48-yarder. I got no faith in this guy. He shouldn't even have a job in the league anyway.
Why are we finding out these numbers today? That's...
Well, you know who had these numbers probably? Dan Campbell was like, I can't have this guy roll out and kick a 48-yarder right now? Are you kidding me?
How are you?
Yeah. So
things to work on in the offseason.
Yeah, I mean, they probably should upgrade their kicker position.
There we go. Maybe that's.
But yeah, I got no problems with Dan Campbell, man.
How do you get this far though with those numbers? That shocks me. Reading that out this morning.
Yeah. I mean, he probably shouldn't be kicking. So that's why when they didn't roll him out for 48, I was like, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
And this team is aggressive. They have been all year.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, the issue was that they couldn't contain Brock Purdy in the pocket. He ran for over 50 yards in the second half in big moments to keep drives alive. It's not like Brock Purdy picked them apart through the air. Brock Purdy ended up making some excellent plays with his legs in the second half of that football.
You have a good future in front of you, and it's an exciting brand of football. I'd rather go down swinging and gambling and all that stuff than passive.
The Detroit Lions aren't going to be worse next year.
And they're a fun watch. Again, a fun watch.
2 of their 3 key offensive pieces were rookies this year. Like they're going to be good again next year. And maybe Dan Campbell picks different spots to go for it. But I love his aggressiveness, man. I was totally fine with the decision. And it was heartbreaking. But I'm not second guessing Dan Campbell. I'm just not doing it. But the whole Niners didn't show up in the first half.
Well,
come on, maybe the Lions just were the better team in the first half. Why does it always have to be, that team didn't show up? All right, you can hit us up. The Lions dominated the Niners in the first half, but there's no doubt you take the points. Get used to losing. I already said it.
Get used to losing. You're used to it. You live in that.
You're telling me to get used to losing? What are you talking about? The aggressiveness has made the Lions the best team they've had in almost 4 decades. Get used to losing? What are you talking about? I was born into losing.
Like if this Lions turnaround, well, it wouldn't be, but from like some stout defensive coach who lulled teams to sleep and you were winning games, with a single digit. It's not how when you're trying to change the culture, you need that excitement that you've been used to now this season. That's what you need. That's the only way that you get that ship turned around completely, not by playing boring football and passive football. You need this. That's exactly what. Are you going to win every game? No. There'll be some years you don't win the championship, but it's fun. You're here. You're here now.
Yeah,
you're back.
The Lions are a contender now.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what Campbell said post-game too, that maybe now might be a little tougher, but this is where you want to be, ideally. You haven't been here, now you're here, and it's fun. You're having fun. That's the name of the game, right? It's not boring football, it's fun football. And you'll go down with the ship. Good stand.
Great teams cover.
Hey.
And that's what they did. They did cover the spread. So that was nice as well. Somebody that Welder says, but the Lions have a bunch of free agents this offseason. Yeah, which means they have money to spend on other free agents. Aha. I mean, it's good. They're going to be fine.
Nice flip, yeah.
They're going to be fine. Jameer Gibbs is not going to be worse. Laporta is not going to be worse. Laporta had a better season than Travis Kelce. It wasn't even close.
Well, and this is a guy that's not beat up, not through the rigors of how many years, right? Like it's a young team. It's a young, fun team.
Yeah, I think
love it. You gotta love it. You gotta love where you're at.
Learning experience, definitely headed in the right direction.
You like where you're going. That's the thing in sport. For so long you've been nothing, and you've accepted the joke. You've like it's not like you've had high hopes, but now this is onward.
Except for a Super Bowl that I don't really want to watch.
But again,
could be a good game. But I don't want to see the Niners win, and I'm kind of tired of the Chiefs.
Your loser club card is in the mail.
Yeah. Here we are.
Join us.
Here
it's
we
all
are.
Good.
Well, I mean, the Niners have been to quite a few NFC championships lately. Hadn't got it done.
Yeah.
So, they had an opportunity here. They've learned from past mistakes.
I was thinking of Hernan Salas sweating during that first half there, hey?
Oh, yeah.
He must have been throwing around
so
a few
sweaty.
TV tables as well.
So sweaty. All right, Mike Tanier is good to go from the Messenger. And then there were 2. It is the Chiefs and the Niners. You do get, from my building of the game perspective, the Super Bowl favorites going into the playoffs against the defending champions. You get Patrick Mahomes, who is an MVP, going up against the last pick in the draft in Purdy. So there's certainly some storylines there. How did we get here? Let's dive into that. Mike, did you enjoy the football yesterday?
Oh, I love the football, but let me tell you, you were talking about not wanting to watch the Super Bowl. As soon, I'm blessed to be able to. I'm going to Vegas next week, and I'm going to be there, which is phenomenal. But I was looking at it and thinking, from a coverage standpoint, this is the worst matchup. I interviewed the Chiefs last year. I interviewed them in 2019. I interviewed the Niners in 2019. I was hoping to get Frank Ragnow, out there, or Lamar, or some of these guys that you haven't really heard from in the national stage. So I'm already looking at saying, okay, what can I ask George Kittle that I've never asked him before? And it's going to be tricky. It's going to be work.
Well, let's start with the Niners and Lions then. As you had mentioned, George Kittle, the guy you'll talk to, he had a quiet game, came up big late for them. I thought I did a pretty good job in the blocking game as well. Mike, I've made it known to you before. I am a Detroit Lions fan. I did not come in here this morning and rip Dan Campbell. I'm a ride or die guy with Dan Campbell. I get it. I've watched every Lions game this year. I know they like to go for it. I know they're aggressive. I know that if Josh Reynolds would have caught that damn ball that was thrown right into his hands, then they would have picked up the 4th down and would have kept the drive alive and had the momentum. But that's just who the Detroit Lions are, right? Like, that game was a perfect example of the good and the bad of the Detroit Lions this year.
Yeah, and the first 4th down, the one you mentioned with Josh Reynolds, I would have done that too. I was feeling it, going for it, and then you realize, well, that's Josh Reynolds. This is your, wide receiver too. He's not particularly phenomenal. Goff throws the ball a little off, and from then on, things snowballs. It's that second, the 4th and 3, when a field goal, 47-yard field goal ties the game, and they go for it again. I'm not ripping him. I'm not saying, well, that was the dumbest call in the world. But if you look at how the Lions looked in the 2 series before that, on that series as well, where their big plays was like Jameson Williams bobbling the ball and then bouncing off the defender and then back into his hands, the Lions weren't executing very well at that point. A field goal could have tied it, maybe calmed things down a little bit. I don't think that was the best call. But you're right, Dan Campbell's doing the things that got him there. And I think he needs to be celebrated for that. And he put it best after the game. It's going to be very hard to get back. And now the really real work begins, because the Lions now have higher expectations, and they're not going to sneak up on anybody.
Who or what impressed you the most about the Niners, and how important do you think it is that they've got these comebacks under their belt here heading into obviously a huge game against the Chiefs?
Yeah, in retrospect, I wish I wrote about that some more, because one thing about the 49ers during the season is they'd roll up leads on opponents, and once you roll up a lead, Purdy can hand off to McCaffrey, throw a screen to Kittle, he doesn't have to force the ball, etc., and you get that win. Now, 2 games in which they had to do more. They had to come back. And Purdy impressed me in the comeback, mainly with his mobility. When people start talking about Purdy, they act like, he sits behind the wheel and he throws the screen to Debo, and that's it, and he walks off. This is a young man who's under pressure, who has to escape, who has to scramble for plus yardage, who has to get out of the pocket and dump the ball off to some of his receivers along the way. He plays well in that. That was a strong game. It was just a good top-to-bottom comeback, but there's 2 ways of looking at it. One is the 49ers' comeback ability is impressive. The second thing is they played poorly in the first halves of the last 2 games. They played very poorly in the first half. Sunday, they played poorly against the Packers. The Packers kept settling for field goals. They can't afford to do that against the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Mike, over to the AFC Championship, I was saying, prior to this Sunday that the Ravens never really got out of gear 2 against Houston and still kind of rolled. It seemed to me they were stuck in Parker. They had the e-brake on. Again, I have a Lions fan in the room with me, but we also work with a Ravens fan. He's got to be more disappointed, I would think, this morning. Top seed, home field, but it's penalties. It's execution, poor decision-making. That's got to leave a Ravens fan feeling totally demoralized this morning, coming out the way you did and ultimately falling 17-10 at home to the Chiefs.
Yeah, and the penalties were more of a problem late when they're trying to get a comeback and guys are starting to lose their composure. Flowers makes the dumb penalty and then he makes the dumb play. Otherwise, this is a very different game. But I look at the Ravens game plan, and I got the play sheet up right now. Lamar Jackson, 8 rushes, a lot of these are scrambles. Gus Edwards, 3 carries for 20 yards. Justice Hill, 3 carries for 3 yards. Zay Flowers on end arounds, 2 for 4. They only handed the ball off to running back 6 times. This is not a game that was out of hand. They were never more, I think there was briefly, they were never more than a touchdown down or 10 points down, I think, at one point. They could have run at all the times. And the Chiefs are 27th against the run. This is a team that you could have said, hey, let's feed Edwards a little more, let's feed Hill a little more, maybe get Dalvin Cook involved. Maybe you create a situation where it's not Lamar Jackson drops back, looks, scrambles, and then maybe throws it away, which happened too often. I don't think the Ravens coached a good game in that game, and that allowed the Chiefs to work their magic and get that win.
Yeah, how Edwards and Hill only have 5 touches in a low-scoring game like that, or 5 carries, just that makes zero sense. Like, when you look at it, it'll always be Lamar as the quarterback, likely the MVP, who's going to take a lot of the heat here. But if you're the Ravens, how do you look at changing things for next season? Like, what comes out of this loss for Baltimore?
Yeah, I don't think much has to be changed, except that, again, in that game, you should have stayed a little bit more balanced. You played right into the hands of a team that wants to get third and long, wants to blitz, and doesn't want to have to think about the running game. So you played into that. I'm just going to look at the cap situation Ravens can do kind of what they need to do. I think Odell Beckham Jr. is gone. I'm not sure if he even played yesterday. I don't remember seeing or hearing his name. So they always have these guys. A Clowney who has played very well. I don't know if they can afford to keep him. I think they need to stay the course. This is a team that would be helped with a big-time running back, but that could be Dobbins or that could be the other young man who got hurt. This is a team that shouldn't panic after what happened yesterday. They should say, we got to tweak our system a little bit, take care of our business in free agency, and come back and try to run this back next year.
There will be a lot of time to discuss this Super Bowl matchup, but when you look at it for the first time, I mean, what ends up becoming the story over the next couple of weeks?
I hope it's not Taylor Swift. I honestly don't know. I made a joke that it feels a little bit like it's 2-153 right now. It's Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce against the entire 49ers like juggernaut, including Purdy and with all his playmakers and all that defense, et cetera. And even though I say 2 against 53, I'm not sure who wins that matchup. It's like a superhero movie: two against the army of robots, and the 2 are going to win it. But it's hard to look at this and say, here's a matchup you haven't seen before. Because again, we saw this 4 years ago. You can replace Garoppolo with Purdy, and kind of the same storyline there. I don't know what we're going to be talking about 1 week from now, and I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of Purdy, Mahomes, and Kelce.
where do you, quickly before we let you go, just on the Bill Belichick front, what do you want to see from Bill Belichick next year? Where do you, as Mike Tanier, want Bill Belichick to be next year?
I am writing about this for the Messenger. It should be out later in the day. I want Bill Belichick to be happy, and I don't think he's not going to be coaching. He's not going to get picked up by the Commanders. I think the Commanders might announce Johnson from the Ben Johnson from the Lions sometime in the next day or two. The Seahawks, I'm not sure what direction they're going to. I think they're leaning towards bringing Quinn in, et cetera. I think we're going to hear Belichick wind up being talked about as a team president or a consultant or something like that, like Bill Parcells did later in his career, like Tom Coughlin did later in his career. I don't know if that's what he wants. I don't know if that's a great fit, but he doesn't fit with these teams that needed coaches this year. Most of these teams that needed coaches this year have general managers, have executives, have a budget, have a direction, aren't ready to win anytime soon. They were ready to say, hey, let's go get Raheem Morris. Let's go get David Canales and quietly start over. So Belichick should buy this time and look for that fit, and that fit might take a year or two. Other coaches have been in that same boat, waited a year or two, and landed in a situation that at least made sense for them.
Well, Mike, we're going to be in Vegas next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so we'll fire you a text. Maybe have to catch up and buy you a bevy or something.
Oh, phenomenal. Well, I mean, we can talk on Monday here, or we can try to set something up live during the week.
Yeah, that'd be great, too. All right, man, enjoy the week.
You got it. Take care and enjoy the week.
That's Mike Tanier. Can you imagine a Mike Tanier live in Vegas with us during Super Bowl week?
I'd love to meet the guy.
Hello, me too.
You've had him on the show for years and years and years.
On the show for a decade,
and
man.
always a real strong player. Always coming, answering the bell whenever you need him. Man.
I owe that man a beer.
One of those heart attack burgers, maybe, eh?
Oh yeah. Always wanted to have one of those heart attack burgers.
Mike, here.
Oh, the United.
Thank you for the years of commitment.
States, man. Eh? Hilarious. So Taylor Swift, and like I said earlier in the show, I like Taylor Swift. We listen to her music around the Nielson household all the time. I love that she's a fan, but I like Travis Kelce less now. I don't know. I don't know if it's just because like the spotlight's on Travis Kelce a little bit more, or if he's trying to impress or something. I don't know. tired with like the Macho Man game with Travis Kelce. I love his brother.
Well, like
Jason's hilarious.
You prefer, yeah. He was on those
Yeah.
Pinties. Did you see the Pinties commercials?
yeah,
the
yeah.
chicken fingers? Yeah.
Yeah,
he
nobody's
really sells them
no
good.
offensive lineman has ever blown up late in his career like Jason Kelce. It's amazing. Like
Well, and Travis blowing
dude's
up-
a beauty lister, except he's a Hall of Famer, so it won't happen. But
Travis is. I mean, the season was,
Yeah.
you know, so, but turning it on now to
Yeah.
play. Maybe that's why he's so like he's feeling it now, right? Like he's coming into his own again.
is there? This is just the question. We know there's going to be a lot of Taylor Swift talk over the next 2 weeks. Clearly, is Taylor Swift just a fan at the game, or like is Taylor Swift involved more one way or the other, or does she just? I think she's got like a concert like the night before the Super Bowl somewhere.
Sure.
Obviously, she can get a private jet and fly to be at the game in Vegas. But I don't know. Is it just 30 cuts to Taylor Swift in a box somewhere, or is there something else going on?
In Vegas, it just can't be.
Right.
You'd think anywhere else. Like if the Super Bowl is in Indianapolis, it's probably a couple cuts to the box. This is something. I'd even go so far as to say that Harbaugh had a hand in letting the Ravens, here you go. Super Bowl, Swift, Vegas.
Can you imagine it comes out on a 30 and 30 years
Come
from
on
now
now.
that Harbaugh threw the game just because the NFL wanted Taylor Swift in the
You
Super
talk
Bowl?
about
Amazing.
idiotic decisions, the penalties and all that. No, I bet it makes too much sense. When are you going to get this star alignment ever again, right? Swift, I mean, the Chiefs doing what they're doing. This is a bit of a rematch. This is a bit of storyline in the Super Bowl. But again, Vegas. It's Vegas. That's the whole,
I think
it's got to be something.
I know. I think she's just in a box with the family.
That's what she wants.
Yeah, I
With
think
the
that's
dad
probably
and
what
the
she
mom.
wants. And
Yeah.
let's be honest, Taylor Swift probably gets what she wants. So if Taylor Swift just wants, I think that's probably what it is. I don't think there'd be any other involvement in there.
Some sort of
like,
an
does
interview?
the NFL make a call and like?
Well, I'm sure a call is placed. Maybe.
I bet you there's a call placed, but I bet you that call like just gets sent to ignore.
So you don't think nothing happens? Like she's like a civilian.
She's just
not even like an interview, not a some sort of.
Not
there's
all
gotta be some
civilians
sort of
get
like
on
a-
the camera 30 times.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
I think
right?
it's kind of treated. You know what I'm looking forward to? I'm looking forward. Are we betting? Like, what's the over/under going to be set at? And this will be something you can bet on. You know how it is.
The
Super Bowl.
props,
You
the
bet.
props.
The prop bet for number of times Taylor Swift is on camera. What is that number set at? I cannot wait to get to that. We'll probably get into that in the log shop, maybe even today.
You could have a whole parlay of Swift props.
Oh,
eh? Like,
there
I mean,
will be.
That's
There will
all
be.
you need.
What is she wearing?
Yeah.
How many times is she on? How many times is she in the same shot as his
Zach
brother?
Collaros.
Like that type of thing. Is Zach Collaros there? Like, there's so many things that you can get to.
Surprise cameo at halftime, one song, people would go and say, that's just it. Surveyor Brett. I think you've like, it's
no
not
way.
going to be
There's
focused.
no way.
But see, you're saying no way. That's the surprise.
She wants to be there, but she wants to be there as a girlfriend. She doesn't want to be there as Taylor Swift. She just wants to be there as Kelsey's girlfriend because he's her boyfriend.
Maybe he's
if they are indeed going steady. I
first
don't know.
player to be incorporated at halftime. I mean, the fact that he's so juiced up right now, maybe that is. Maybe he's looking forward to the halftime act. He'll be involved. No halftime break for him.
What we do know is that there's only one place to be for the Super Bowl in this city. Maybe we get like a Taylor Swift cardboard cutout or something we put at the party.
You can make one, eh?
I don't know. You know what? I would like to have like a good local cardboard cutout company. Right? Just on short notice, cardboard cutouts. Like that would be really good.
Send him a picture, boom, bam.
Yeah, like I want one delivered this afternoon.
Turned
You know,
around
like
in
that would be
12
amazing.
hours,
yeah, that'd be really good. We are going to be in Lieutenant Eric's stomping grounds, Century Casino, Fort Road, for the Super Bowl.
Underground parking.
What a week we have. We're going to be in Vegas Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. Come home late Thursday night. Come back, work Friday. Think we're going to have an Oilers watch party on Saturday. And then there's a Super Bowl Sunday. And then on Monday, we're doing all of our shows from the casino, from the Sports Bar and Lounge. So make plans right now. Swing down and join us. We'll have some EST merch, prizing, all that type of stuff. Should be a good time. 6 o'clocker lager will be available in the can at the casino. They got 10 flats. So I don't know what you guys are going to drink.
That's a first half right there.
Can you imagine
eh?
if I took down 10 flats of Tall Boys?
I can.
My God. Anyway, I think we're going to probably crush through those pretty quick. So yeah, make plans to join us. Century Casino, Fort Road. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's the perfect size too. Like it won't be too big, but we'll all be together. Like it'll be really good. We're looking forward to it. You had a great time down there. Menu items less than $10.
I mean,
Come on, are you kidding me?
that's a deal. And Super Bowl Sunday, menu items under $10. You mentioned the Kansas 6 o'clock lager. Renee throws a party unlike anybody else. You can come see Renee. Don't need a cardboard cutout for her. She'll be there live in the flesh. You can get
You
a
can
picture
see
with
Renee today. here on the Hangout.
Yeah.
Renee is going to be on the Hangout today. Hi, I'm Renee. Thanks for coming to Century Casino.
She's Renee.
Yeah. This Renee is not like our Renee. It's just two different Renees for sure. But yeah, she's going to be in on the Hangout today with Tommy and Maddie. DL says, hey, Dusty, I heard there's an EST Vegas giveaway. Is that true? Yes, there will be. It is true. You have heard correctly.
After our trip,
we're coming back. We're giving away a trip for 2 to Vegas. It'll be a contest for like probably 4 or 5 weeks. And one of you will win a trip for 2 to Vegas. Courtesy Edmonton Sports Talk and YEG, the Edmonton International Airport. So that's awesome. That's going to be really fun. Speaking of winning things, if you'd like to win by the way, join us for Super Bowl. It's going to be a good time. Our whole crew is going to be there.
It's a casino.
It's at a casino.
I mean, again,
we're sleeping there
the
that night.
Props,
it's gonna be great.
the one-armed bandits, the tables. You got it. I mean, the bright lights, the smells, the people.
Come on, it's perfect. If you want to play kind of easy trivia right now, we have a gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, where they also have the 6 o'clocker lager on tap. No big deal. Just text Trev, 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. If you'd like to play for that gift certificate today, text in, say, Trev, I want to play. Pick me. We'll get to kind of easy trivia coming up. 3 questions too many just after 8 o'clock as well. No Ryan Rashog today. He refuses to do shows when the Oilers have won 16 in a row, so he's not going to be able to join us today.
For shame.
He's going to wait for a little bit here. He said he's unavailable this week and next week. That's a lot of Settlers of Catan, man.
He's getting out there, hey?
Yeah.
Like he's gone out to some shack. That's
Is he going to a beach somewhere? Who knows?
Oh, tropical getaway.
Maybe, who knows? Maybe a tropical getaway.
I'm thinking he's going farther up north.
I'm going to guess tropical getaway.
Okay, well, 780-218-9999. Let's go.
Where's Rashog for the next 2 weeks?
Ooh.
That's how you go in text of the day.
Yeah.
If you want to play kind of easy trivia, 780-218-9999. New smash hit segment, I Says Pardon, coming up here around 8:30 today as well. Let's get to a sports update with Lieutenant Eric for Clayburn Services. If you are looking for work and you want to make a lot of money really quickly, Clayburn is the place for you. ClayburnServices.com. Update with LTE right now.
Super Bowl 58 is set. Niners knocking off the Lions 34-31. Well, the Chiefs would hold on to beat the Ravens 17-10. You can join the entire Edmonton Sports Talk crew for Super Bowl 58 at the Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Centric Casino Fort Road. Big game February 11th. Menu items under $10. Cans of 6 o'clock or lager throughout the day and your chance at prizing as well. Just a pair of games in the NHL yesterday. Blues over the Kings 4-3 in overtime, and the Kraken double up Columbus 4-2. Oilers picking up wins 16 in a row Saturday afternoon over Nashville as the club will enter the All-Star break. They'll get set to chase 17 straight wins next Tuesday down in Vegas. Just one game tonight as Ottawa host Nashville. Rowan Woodward with the overtime winner. Oil Kings over the Wheat Kings 5-4 from Rogers Place. The club will visit Lethbridge tomorrow to battle the Hurricanes. PWHL action saw Minnesota edge out New York 2-1 in overtime. Minnesota tied for top spot in the league with Montreal on 15 points. League action resumes on Saturday. Just 3 games in the AJ yesterday. Whitecourt dropping one on the road in Calgary 5-3. Camrose 4-1 over Grand Prairie, and Drumheller getting past Bonnyville 5-4. Action resumes tomorrow night when Bonnyville visit Fort McMurray. And the Raptors drop their 5th straight in the final seconds as well, 126-125 to the Knicks. Busy night in the association with 12 games on the schedule. Raptors will visit the Bulls tomorrow night. Sports Update brought to you by Clayburn Services. They are hiring now, looking for journeyman bricklayers and all levels of apprentices. You can start a new career or take your current one to the next level with their well-established mentorship program. Visit www.clayburnservices.com for more.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
8:03 with the AM Nasty. Thank you very much for being here today. Tell your friends about Edmonton Sports Talk, and it's not just a podcast. Edmonton Sports Talk live on TuneIn at edmontonsportstalk.com, and that online station is running 24/7 at TuneIn. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, another platform that you'll be able to consume our content on. So stick around for that one. Oil Money says, Rashog said on Got Your Back, he is going to a warm climate and going golfing. I knew it was a warm climate, right? You can only play so much Settlers of Catan in the mountains. With that being said, wrong answers for why Rashog can't join us the next 2 weeks. 780-218-9999. Tube Socks. I don't know if it was in the nasty chat or in the, it's in the nasty chat there. Dan Campbell drawing an 18 in blackjack. Hit me. Yes, exactly. And I fully back him. I'd be like, great decision, Dan Campbell. There is nothing. You could try to do this to get in the Mixer text of the day today. There is nothing I would not back Dan Campbell for. It's that simple. Dan Campbell could ask me to do anything. Dan Campbell could come in here today and say, want this oyster? And I'd be like, yep, yes, I do, Dan Campbell. Like, there's nothing. I'd eat vegetables for this man. Like,
and ask for seconds.
Depending on the vegetable, yes, sure, I would. Sure, I would.
Dan Campbell says.
Things that Dan Campbell could convince me to do. 780-218-9999. All right, who's playing Kind of Easy Trivia today, Trev?
We've got Jason.
Jason is going to play today. Looking to get his hands on a gift certificate from Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. Casualest place ever in the Hampton Inn on the corner of 137th Ave and Mark Messier Trail. Also out in Fort Sask as well. That's a newer location. And they got the 6 o'clocker lager on tap in the Hampton Inn location on the corner of 137th Ave, Mark Messier Trail. We had a little Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual on Saturday night.
Oh.
Yeah, a little movie night for the Nielson family.
Okay.
We
what was on the menu?
We watched Sing 2.
Sing 2?
Sing 2. Yeah, I know it's not for you boys.
Is it better than Sing 1?
See, actually, it's funny because we had this discussion. Marshall did claim that Sing 2 is better than Sing 1, and I have to say I would agree with him.
It's tough to do the
it is.
To beat the original, yeah.
Sing franchise is good, man. I'm dying for a Sing 3. I'll take a Sing 3. That's no problem. Anyway, I had the classic Mike Burger and fries.
Okay.
It's delicious. Marshall had the mini Mike Burgers. The Muzz had a quesadilla. Tam had some sort of salad that I wouldn't touch in a million years.
Unless Dan Campbell asked you to,
unless
right?
Dan Campbell asked me to. Overall, it was terrific.
Dan Campbell thinks Michael Jordan is better than LeBron James. Comes in from Red.
Who's playing Kind of Easy Trivia today?
We have Jason.
Okay, yeah, Jason. Sorry, I got distracted there by some horrible text messages that have already trickled in. All right, let's go to Jason. Jason, you ready to play today?
I'm ready, man.
All right, here we go. I'll start the ticker after read the first question. Good luck. How many straight wins do the Oilers have?
16.
Name one Oiler who is going to the All-Star game.
McDavid.
Which two players will play in the Super Bowl? Or which two teams will play in the Super Bowl?
Chiefs, Niners.
Who's the quarterback of the Niners?
Brock Purdy.
What position does Travis Kelce play?
He is a tight end.
You got it, buddy. You got it. That one's on me.
No! My God. Damn it, Shake, stop it!
They are going to remember that AM radio is a viable and modern source for news and entertainment. Totally. People don't listen to AM like they used to. Seems like it's more about FM and color TV. That's stupid. It sure is, Kevin.
I'm stoked. You stoked?
I'm stoked.
Just so stoked.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
These Dan Campbell tests.
Club beat Lou. Maybe I shouldn't have said these. Look, but Dan Campbell's my guy. Anyway, congratulations to Jason. He's going to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. Get yourself a 6 o'clock lager on tap. Stuff's flying off the taps. Flying out of the kegs. People love it. We got 3 questions too many coming up. But first, these Dan Campbell texts, are they coming in good? Trying to win text of the day for A&W, where it's a pickle party right now. A&W Spicy Dill Pickle Mama Burger is back, available for only a limited time too, so you got to get that done.
Dan Campbell thinks Ron Francis is top 5 all time, and it's all coming around, right? I love it.
Oh, who said that one in?
There you go. Unsigned.
That was good. That was good.
Put a handle to your text as well. Be somebody, as we like to say.
That was good. I like that one.
Or Rashog vacation scenarios as well. I mean, you got a lot of paths to victory this morning for text of the day.
It's nice. I love when paths to text of the day victory pop up midway through a show.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at right now. Where is Rashog really going for vacation? And things Dan Campbell could convince me to do.
And if you can combine them all.
Oh, man. Dan Campbell could convince me to go on vacation with Rashog only to play Settlers of Catan while he whines about his gout.
With Ron Francis.
780-218-9999. Nielson Show coming to you from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studios as well. Get your hands on that Oilers meal, right? Why not? Who else is offering up an Oilers meal? Here's the answer. Nobody. Oilers Collector's Cup, plus all the delicious stuff. The nuggets, the spicy regular chicken burger, Cajun fries, everything. It's all taken care of. Only at Popeyes. Get that done. Rashog is at a gout rehab facility for 2 weeks.
In Turkey.
Hey, Rashog is on vacation at math camp. Oh, Ryan, I see you're back again.
We got him out now.
Still haven't caught up, eh? This is good. Ooh, big uke. Shoggy needs time off because he's having a real tough time right now. He hasn't been able to run anyone out of town for weeks.
Bring out the irons this morning,
oh, man.
Let's go.
This is good. Keep these bad boys rolling in. Oh, that one hits. That one hits big time. Man, I thought math camp was good. Colton with the gout rehab. That's pretty good too. But man, needs time off because he hasn't been able to run anybody in town for a few weeks. That's a good one.
Pretty good.
All right. Keep those flying in here. Let's get to we got I Says Pardon coming up. I got a CFL I Says Pardon today. I know.
CFL? Excuse me?
Can you believe that?
Excuse
I know.
me?
How dare I?
Trying to keep the league relevant during its offseason. How dare you? What, do you work for them or something?
What am I?
Do you cover the league?
What am I? One of the people in this country that promote the league as much as I possibly can.
Dan Campbell put this stuff. He's behind this, isn't he? He told you to do
Dan
this.
Campbell did text me last night and say, hey, instead of these fourth downs, why don't we say real leagues don't need them?
Well, got a lot of good kickers up here, Dan, if you're looking for one.
All right, keep these. Come on. Fat guy, tiny car. Dan Campbell thinks Jesse Puljujarvi and Saku Koivu are the most overrated Finnish hockey players ever.
There's Campbell Puljujarvi ones in the nasty chat as well. Dan Campbell got a lot more of a Jesse Puljujarvi. You can agree with that, I'm sure.
Of course he would have. Would have used him properly. Would have been more aggressive with him. Right? Wasted him. All right, do you have a liner for the segment today?
3 questions.
Should have never come up with the Dan Campbell thing. He is my guy, though. I love him. But some of you are being absolutely ridiculous.
We're taking this thing to the limit.
Some of you are being ridiculous today.
I love it.
Send in Rashog text instead. All right. Let's go. Liner.
3 questions too many. Brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and Mitch Lewicki, who will be trying out for that Lions kicker job over the offseason. Park Mazda, your dealer for life.
We need to get back around to that. They don't kick the 48-yarder there because Badgley sucks.
But that's a problem in a championship game.
How many times?
To be like, oh, we need a field goal. Yeah, but your kicker sucks. Oh, really? We're finding this out now. Like this should have been if you're serious about a run, which I think they were.
They were serious about a run.
So
this is why I always say, this is me being pro CFL guy again. Somebody sign Sean White, for goodness sakes. Dude's been automatic forever.
I think he had
and he's a beauty.
He had the puking emoji when Bass missed last week. What's he thinking now? He must be he's just sitting around, waiting.
Whitey's the absolute best. God. All right. Do you have a Twitter account?
At Lieutenant_Eric. You can follow on Twitter. If you missed my ugly from the Good, Bad, and Ugly this morning, that is up there. Did you see it yet?
No, I still haven't watched that yet.
Yeah.
I'll get to that here at some point.
Your live reaction be.
Okay,
it's one of the many camera angles, but the better one is when you see him fall down the awning and then it landed on some poor Ipswich Town fan's head. She's like, my neck is sore
Ipswich.
today.
I see pitchers and catchers reporting.
Yes.
Here's the ugly.
And he just keeps
slow-mo.
going.
Slow-mo roll.
And that's a drop, off that awning. He fell like a good 10 feet.
But he's okay.
Well, the lady's neck hurts really bad. I mean, if you get a bloke land on you like that from a...
Soccer, am I right?
Yeah, hey.
All right. Let's get into it. Question number 1. You can send your questions, 780-218-9999. This question here, I guess, kind of ties into Rashog a little bit. If you guys were millionaire hockey players, how would you spend a week off in the middle of the season? So you got, money's they don't care about it, right? For these guys, a lot of these guys. It doesn't matter. You can get a PJ, not Paris Jewelers, a private jet. That's what private jet people call private jets.
I heard something else.
I'm going to just rent a PJ. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
That's all these guys are doing. They're just getting PJs the entire time.
Well, if you're asking me, I would have flown across the pond for a little FA Cup action. I saw Liverpool put 5 past Norwich City.
Yeah.
Let's be having you, Canaries, huh?
Exactly. Yeah. Let's be having you, Canaries.
Look, you asked. That's where I'm going. And the best part about that is if you're an NHL player, nobody over there recognizes you.
Yeah.
You can do whatever the hell you want, right? Like
I'm trying to plan family trip right now. Like last year we went to Disneyland.
See, I'm a single NHL player. I'm taking that type of, now you have a family NHL,
no,
maybe you're
I'm
a
just
Ron
saying, like,
Francis type.
Technically, like I'm trying to plan like a family trip right now.
Yeah.
And, you're trying to find like cheaper flights. You're trying to find better times to go. Imagine just being like, I'll just go wherever I want. It doesn't matter how much money it is. Like, that's amazing. Like,
well, let's get back into this where you have some.
Well, actually, I was going to throw this out to
what?
people. Like, we did Disneyland last year. It was amazing. I told Tammy, I was like, I want to go back to Disneyland again.
Is that the Florida?
I'm a big kid. I love Disneyland.
Which one's that?
California. I want to go, but she's like, we can't go back to Disneyland twice. And it's back-to-back years, which is a valid claim. So we're looking like for people who have younger kids or had younger kids, give us some, like, I'm always just a Disneyland guy. So I don't even have people like Legoland, SeaWorld, Universal Studios. Like, we want to go somewhere kind of warmish so the kids can have some fun. This is our rule. I work Spengler. And then because I work Spengler, we go on a trip as a family. So it's kind of like I go away at Christmas time, but the sacrifice is we can have a cool family trip at some time in the spring. So
Disney World. My nieces and nephews are down there right now. They're having a blast.
Is that, but is Disney World much different from Disneyland? I like the idea.
You check them all off.
We
right?
looked at a
Been to
Disney
both, right?
cruise, but it's kind of expensive.
You want to cruise?
I don't mind cruising. We
You
cruised
do the
once.
idea?
We haven't
Trapped on a
cruised
ship?
with kids.
Would you talk like a pirate the whole time? Is that kind of what you want the whole?
At Legoland you can get a pirate room, which I would totally talk like a pirate if I was staying in a pirate room. The entire time. Oh, it's bedtime. Shiver me timbers. Like the whole time.
Yeah.
Anyway, if money was if you do have any suggestions for like good family trips, I would be okay with like going to like sort of a kid-based like resort in Mexico, but Tammy doesn't necessarily want to do that. So I don't know if you have any good suggestions for a good trip for kids. Let me know. Hit me up 780-218 Nasty Chat, DMs on Twitter, whatever. But if I was a millionaire hockey player, I'd go to Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii. I'd probably whip out to Hawaii, fly there, stay for like 3-4 days, come back. I think that would be pretty.
That's what
cool.
Pat in the county says. Hawaii, Dusty. Hawaii.
Yeah. Well, not for me. I don't think. Like, is there lots for kids to do in Hawaii?
Oh, I'm sure there's something.
I don't know. I feel like
I went when I was in grade 4, and I had the time of my life. I went.
I learned that on the show today.
Yeah.
Trev went
Hawaii
to
was
in grade 4.
Yep.
So
this
you'd be a
is
year older. So
Diamond
you're like
Head.
9 years old. What'd you do?
Yeah, went hiking on Diamond Head. That was really cool. Got to go. My sea turtles are like my favorite animals. And when I was a kid, I was like, I always wanted to see a sea turtle. And so, went scuba diving. Got to see that. Hanama Bay. That's what it was called. It was just gorgeous. And I mean, just spend the whole day at the beach. It was unreal. There's lots to do. There's
volcano.
Volcanoes exactly. Honolulu is just really cool. Yeah, but I mean, apparently it's very expensive. I didn't know that when I was a kid. So
you were just living.
Yeah, I was just living. Oh man, it was a grand old time. Waikiki Beach. I mean, it's just unreal. I think I second that for you, Dusty. That'd be unreal.
D Flange is in and says, take the family to the Spengler. Here's the thing. We'd like to do that. Davos overall, unless you're like a skiing family, which we're not a great place for kids. Coming to the games would be good, but I really wouldn't get to see them much because I'm working all the time. Plus, it is more expensive to go to the Spengler than it is to any of these other places I'm talking about. Like, flying my wife and kids to Switzerland is probably not going to happen. I can't go to do the Spengler and lose money on it. Like, that would suck. Why are you doing the Spengler when you lose thousands of dollars every year calling this tournament? For a chance to hang out with Filthy Bruce. That's how it works.
People are loving Hawaii here. And I think with YouTube Trev's testimonial and a few texters that's the way. That's the route now. Dan Campbell says.
Oh, well, if Dan Campbell says, then why didn't you say so? Question number 2. Which player was the biggest disappointment in the NFL this weekend? You just hang this on Lamar?
Well, yeah, and again, I don't think he lost them the game outright. But when you're talking MVP, or that's the discussion being made and the noise around you, I could have expected more. Like maybe, and we're talking players, not coaches, right? Because agreeing with Mike's
Yeah,
theory in the running game and how they kind of abandoned that, I would say. But yeah, Lamar Jackson, I mean, you
that last interception just was totally unnecessary.
Well, and he's the guy too that if you're behind, you rely on a guy like him to get you back into it single-handedly. Like, right, that's the storyline is he's going to do it. He's going to do it himself. He's going to put the team on his shoulders. I think frustration crept in a little too early. The toss, I mean, you mentioned that
I think this is kind of unfair because he's a rookie. But Zay Flowers taking the taunting penalty. And then, I mean, it's a nice defensive play. But if he secures that football and gets the touchdown, that's two huge plays in that football game that really sting. But once again, he's so young. I don't really want to hang it on him. I think overall I'd have to look, like we said players, but I think if we're looking like at people, I think I'd have to say the Baltimore Ravens coaching staff was the biggest disappointment of the weekend. Like Mike, I didn't realize how bad it was, but when Mike Tanier pointed out today that Gus Edwards had 3 carries and Justice Hill had 2 in like a low-scoring football game that you were still definitely in, and you're one of the best rushing teams in the National Football League, and Kansas City's defense is 27th against the run, and you handed the ball off 5 times? What is that?
You got him at home. If you're on the road, I could maybe see the panic setting in maybe a little earlier, perhaps. But you're at home. You got him where you want him. What's the panicky? I don't get it.
Zacicum, what's up, buddy? Somebody said Trev reminds them of the sea turtle from Finding Nemo.
Crush?
Yeah, a little bit. I can see that. Yeah.
I get that. Believe it or not, that's not the first time I've got that. So
you blame Harbaugh on the too many men penalty. Yeah, there was that too. Like the coaching staff for the Ravens, most disappointing element, I think. Matty Wannick, resident Ravens fan, I bet you he would agree with us on this one.
Yeah,
I think it's got to be
a measured take.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Ravens.
He separates the emotions from
coaching staff. All right, question number 3 today here on 3 Questions Too Many, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda. I washed my truck, by the way, for the first time over the weekend.
Wand wash? Or,
I wand washed it.
Good for you.
Listen, everybody said, it's really tough to keep a black pickup truck, and they're right, to keep it clean. So I wand wash it, thought I did a great job, drive home, get home, and I could see the spots that I missed. Sucked a big one. I got to realize that I need to do a better job on washing this truck.
You can't slab them, though, after the wash. They're going to, it's going to.
What am I supposed to do now,
it's
right?
It's just going to happen, yeah.
I'm thinking next time I'll go foam brush. Foam brush that entire thing.
You enjoyed it, though, hey? Giving that thing a wash.
The only reason I don't go to more car washes is because they're usually so busy.
The wand wash.
All these washes.
Yeah.
There's always a lineup. They're always busy. I found one just down from the office here that I rolled into. Rolled right in. It was great. Got out. Wand washed it. Tried to vacuum a little bit. I hate vacuuming the car wash. The hose is always wet. It's touching your legs and stuff.
Do that in the spring.
Yeah, don't like that. All right, question number 3. Well, this is too early. Well, maybe not. Boys, do you want the first overall pick in Friday's captain's draft?
No.
Interesting answer.
We haven't even begun to well, kind of in our
We
own
kind of
minds
started to lay out some categories,
but knowing it, how it lands, how the marquee sets up and everything.
Is there one captain that makes this like a Gretzky-style draft? I don't know.
I don't think you need anybody.
Trev, you want
I know my easy pick.
Who would it be? You can tell us. We're both in the draft.
You're not competing.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. It's got to be Captain America. Might be biased, but that's me.
You're a big Captain America guy.
Yeah, Marvel's my favorite.
Are you writing down Captain America right now?
All ideas are good ideas, right?
I mean, you'd win so many votes. It's either that, like the easy one. It's either that or Captain Morgan. It has to be those two. Those are.
I think Captain Kirk gets a lot of good run here.
Mm-hmm.
Or is Captain Kirk
for the
kind
older
of past?
audience? Maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, well, that's the thing.
You're a Star Wars guy, of course, too. You.
I don't.
I think there are a lot of dark
horses. I
horses.
need the first overall pick. I'd take it just so I get that 8-9 swing.
I
love big swing guy.
To be honest with you,
I don't think I've had a swing in any of our drafts.
Have you had chair position? Have you get to?
I did go chair position.
That's what I'm concerned
last
about
draft.
I love the chair.
I
position.
sat right next to Tommy, and took Milne out of his regular chair.
That's right,
so
too. Yeah.
I thought it was a big move.
I think there are a lot of dark horses in this draft, and there could be a few surprises, even on the draft floor.
We're going like 12, 13, 14 rounds deep in this captain's draft, so
there's a lot of depth to it.
It should be
a lot of interesting ways. Yeah.
I like the addition of you have to draft the captain's accessory. right? You could go like
the shield.
A Captain America shield, just a badge in general.
Yes.
Right? You could get a badge.
It's the eye
What
patch,
about like a
isn't it?
Captain Pirate eye patch?
The eye patch.
Right? There's lots of captain's accessories.
Hat. Yeah.
A captain's hat. A hook. A captain's hook.
Captain Hook.
Captain Hook. Where's Captain Hook go? Captain Hook's legit. You could take Captain Hook in the animated category if you wanted. So anyway, that draft's going to be happening on Friday from 9 to 11 right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Me in the Hangout. Former commish who's desperately trying to get back into that role. He's going to be hosting on the Hangout. Current commish, Quinn Phillips, will be in. And myself, Mill, and Tommy. And Tommy coming in off a dub. Tommy looking to defend.
It's funny because that Christmas draft, and we all break for Christmas, and then, you go to Switzerland, sickness, we're all just, and then we come back and we're like, but a big win.
Jay Milne has become the Susan Lucci of the EST drafts. I think he's finished second 3 times. Captain Jack Sparrow. Well, we all have to draft a pirate captain and an outer space captain. There's a bunch of things that we've got. So yeah, it should be pretty good one. I like this one. Last night I discovered Trev's YouTube page. It was randomly suggested to me. I clicked on it not knowing it was him. Then about 30 seconds in, I was like, wait, is that YouTube Trev? So I liked and subscribed.
The algorithm.
That's great.
Thanks for that. That's pretty cool.
That's awesome. And speaking of subscribing, we said this morning, we think this is the week that we hit 60. What will we hit? 6,800? 6,800?
We're thinking 7,000.
Yeah, 7,000. Yeah, we think we're going to get to 7,000 this
top.
week. So if you're watching the show right now, and as opposed to just listening on TuneIn or EdmontonSportsTalk.com, if you're watching the show right now, give us a sub. We're pushing up towards 7,000 subs. We're hoping we can hit it this week. All you have to do is just click subscribe and be along for the ride here at Edmonton Sports Talk. We know many of you are like watching the content, but you've not yet subscribed. So we're just asking politely, please subscribe to the channel. So if you were to get, just to follow up on this draft thing, if you were to get first overall, remember you get to pick where you pick, right? It's not like you just get locked in with the first overall pick. So if you have the choice of where you want to be in this draft,
4-5 swing.
You go 4-5 swing?
Yep. I'd like to see where things.
How has the 4-5 swing just become like the catbird seat, right? Like,
because I think you see, and especially for a draft such as this, maybe you don't see a true number. So that's fine. You let the 3 other people do their dance, and then you're the first one to do the swing. So you get 2 right off the hop.
Yeah.
3 go off the board, but you get 2 that you want right there early. So with the absence of a true number 1, and if it's a little deep, you can say, well, maybe the first 3 I get, but you get those 2 back to back. You could really build something there.
We are all going after the 4-5 swing like a dog on a bone. No. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Guys, where is the love for the guy who destroys the roof of your mouth? Captain Crunch.
Well, and we got Captain Hunch as well.
Captain Hunch over here. Imagine drafting Captain Hunch.
Yeah, that should be.
If I'm running away with it, that's my final. I'll
nice.
I'll get you on the roster.
You'll win that one.
You know what's weird to me is that we're just talking about the fictional captains. We're not talking about like how high does Mark Messier get drafted? Right? The Moose.
Captain Canada?
Captain Canada. Like, where do these guys get drafted? We're not even there yet. And there's going to be a lot of good sports captains over the years who are going to get drafted in this thing. So the strategy of when you're mixing in sports captains versus non-sports captains, it's going to be huge.
That's the best thing about an EST draft is when it's the mix.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily have to focus on that, but you've got a deep breadth of options when it comes to sports captains. And then the other side of it, I mean, the Highliners, the Morgans of the world, that just goes into the hilarity. But yeah, lots of good, like, will you be the one to take Iker Casillas?
Nope. I promise you I won't.
Where does Ron Francis go, right? 780-218-9999.
Johnny B brings up an interesting name that I thought about because don't they call him like the captain? Derek Jeter?
Yeah.
I hate Derek
Jeter.
But for the draft, I might have to suck it up.
Yeah.
Joel says, Matt Sundin.
No, get that Leafs fan vote.
If anybody drafts Matt Sundin, I'm walking out. I'm going after the Esty. I'm going after the Esty for best walkout. Dusty walked out when Eric took Matt Sundin in the 13th round of the captain's draft.
Like Sir Viv Richards, West Indies, the Windies, cricket? Come on.
No. No.
Richie McCaw. Rugby.
Man, you can
come
get
on.
all these guys if you want. You can get all these guys.
4-5 swing.
Yeah. The draft will be happening on Friday on the Hangout, presented by Mott's Clamato. And then starting on, by Friday. By Friday, the Hangout will be presented by White Claw.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, White Claw is going to be the presenting sponsor of the Hangout for the next 3 months. So we get into some White Claws on Draft Friday.
Yeah.
Which should be pretty fun. And by should be pretty fun, I mean it's going to be awesome. Can't wait for that one. So the draft will be on Friday. As we picked a nice week for the draft.
Yeah.
The Oilers are off this week, obviously. It's that week before the Super Bowl week. So we figured we can get some good draft content in as we work our way through the week. We'll get the draft order determined. We'll lay out all the categories and stuff. It should be a lot of fun. Should be a lot of fun.
You might have to put some names on your draft board that you may not like. Like there's going to have to be a total not listening to your heart at all. This has got to be a total brain draft.
Has to be.
What if you end up like Michael Jordan? Huh? It could be.
You want the guy who punched teammates in the face? Great leader. Great leader. I'm not even getting into that today. Not after a Lions loss. You trying to do this to me? No. If you could somehow get like the Moose and Jeter, I mean, things like that will go a long way, I think. It'll be fun, though. We're really looking forward to it. Should be a good time. We are also looking forward to going to Vegas next week. We would leave just over 1 week from now. We're going to be leaving on Monday night.
Monday evening, yeah.
We're going to get down there, and it should be a pretty good time. We are teaming up with YEG, the airport, and we're going down. We're taking all of our shows down there. And we've got a great itinerary lined up as well. You can fly direct. You can fly direct from the airport to a number of different places. The Vegas direct flights, Flair Airlines, and WestJet. We're going to be on that WestJet flight on Monday. Flying down directly, then flying back direct on Thursday as well. There's nothing like a direct flight, man. It takes away the stress of having to transfer at airports and all this stuff. And you can just hop online, flyyeg.com, and you can see all of the direct destinations that they have for you. And we're heading to Vegas. Should be good. Lots of you are going to be down there for the hockey game. And, we're going to hopefully get a location where some of you can pop on by. We're hitting up Top Golf one day. We're going to go check out the Circa Swim. We've got some like lunches and dinners planned. So it should be a pretty good time. And when we come back, we are going to give you an opportunity to win a trip to Vegas for you and a guest as well. So that's the first of many, hopefully, big giveaways that we have here at Edmonton Sports Talk. So be ready for that. When we come back from Vegas, we'll launch that in the month of February into early March, and then one of you will win a trip down to, I believe they call it Sin City.
They also say what happens there stays there. That's the
correct.
Phrase.
Yeah, including win number 17 for your Edmonton Oilers.
That's got another thing. It's going to be busy. We go to Vegas, we come back, we're preparing for Super Bowl, but Saturday of that weekend in between, also Oil Stream as well, right? You guys are live on location.
We've got lots coming up. We've got some live. That one will be at Boston Pizza, and then we got a bunch of live on locations coming up at Hudson's as well, which is going to be absolutely great. So, things are moving in the right direction for Edmonton Sports Talk, and in the end, it'll lead to a chance for you to go to Vegas. So that'll be a lot of fun as well. All right, let's get into I Says Pardon. And this is going really well. This has been cruising along pretty good so far. We just launched this last Wednesday, and people are already reaching out to get a pardon from Lawyer Central. It's all brought to you by Lawyer Central. Get a clean slate for an affordable rate. Everybody makes stupid mistakes. If you're still paying for yours, you don't have to. Visit www.lawyer-central.com/pardons or call 1-888-288-8177. That's 1-888-288-8177 to find out more about getting your pardon. They've got lawyers all across the country. And who knows, maybe it's been kind of holding you back a little bit for jobs or traveling. And many of you probably don't know that you can get it taken care of. So,
and don't worry if it's a little embarrassing, right? They've seen and heard them all. right? Like, you know.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing. I don't think you have to be embarrassed about your case.
Well, you know,
Like,
you don't have to tell us.
Yeah.
You can just go in there and.
Well, as they told us, like 10% of Canadians have a criminal record.
We did the math.
That
for
doesn't
this
have
office,
to be the
right?
case.
Like
That doesn't have to be the case.
It's
You
half
go
of
get
us
this thing
in there.
taken care of.
Yeah.
Right? Don't let it hold you back. Go get that. Go get that taken care of. All right, Lieutenant Eric. Here's what this kind of fired me up a little bit over the
Not heading into a championship
weekend.
game with a suitable kicker. Is that maybe what the
No,
it made me say pardon this morning.
that's,
those numbers that you ran past me. Whoo-wee, I don't know how you.
This is what I have to say pardon about. This is from the new president of the Calgary Stampeders. Says, we, the Stamps, have the only true tailgating in the Canadian Football League. And then Jim Mullen, who is the president of Football Canada, retweets it and says he's not wrong. I says, pardon? Are you kidding me? The Stampeders tailgate is great. Don't get me wrong. It's a good tailgate. But what are we talking about? President of Football Canada doesn't know there's other legitimate tailgates around the Canadian Football League? President of the Calgary Stampede. I know you're going to want to, pump up your own tailgate, and it's a good tailgate. But the tailgate in Winnipeg is incredible. The tailgate here in Edmonton has, how much has it grown in the last 3-4 years? It's awesome.
Chili cook-offs.
The tailgate is great down in Edmonton. Calgary's the only one. I says, pardon? Are you serious? Somebody needs to get with the, what are we doing here? I don't understand it. Like, you're just ignoring the fact that other teams have great tailgates as well? Very disappointed in this.
I guess maybe from Jim's point of view, you'd rather spend the game in the tailgate as opposed to getting inside McMahon Stadium, right? Like maybe the tailgate is like good and it just shows the stadium's just a piece of crap, and you'd rather spend your time out there instead of having a tailgate in the shadows of huge Commonwealth Stadium or something like that.
Yeah,
maybe that's the angle.
I mean, if they want to say, if the quote would have been like, we the Stamps have the best tailgating in the CFL, and then Mullen said he's not wrong, then that's an opinion. That's fine. But to say that they have the only true tailgating in the CFL, and then for the president of Football Canada to say he's not wrong, but he is wrong. You're driving up to IG Field in Winnipeg, man. There's tailgating going on both sides. There's tailgating right outside Commonwealth. I'm very confused. I'm very confused by this.
There is a reply to Jim Mullen's tweet. Just because the stadium looks like a parking lot doesn't mean you can call it a tailgate.
Ooh,
but it's a shot at McMahon in that sense. Maybe the tailgating is decent. But given the fact the stadium's a dump, maybe that gives everybody's opinion of it that much more, right? Like, what's the example? I put my car next to a shopping cart. Oh, your car, wow, that car looks great. But it's, because it's better than a cart.
Yeah. And I'm not throwing shade at the Stamps tailgate.
Oh, I am.
Great. You're throwing shade at McMahon.
Well, yeah, it's kind of the same thing, but it doesn't need to be good. Like, if it's a decent one and you're next to McMahon, well, yeah, it's probably going to look better than it is. I understand.
I don't, it's legitimately happening in other markets. So I don't understand why they would just kind of ignore it. I don't get it. Johnny Alberta is in and says, the entire back parking lot behind Commonwealth Stadium says, pardon?
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's just, they're going to have to keep expanding the tailgate at Commonwealth because it just gets bigger and better every single year.
The neighborhoods and garages around Mosaic say Spartan. Like, I mean, that you want to go for a tailgate. Hoo-wee.
Surveyor Brett is in and says, CFL, I says pardon on January 29th? What a world. Yeah. Big Maple Sports Card says the Stamps can come back when they have a live cover of the Cavis Reed pump-up song.
Well,
an all-time great moment. An all-time great moment.
You see that being played at just random tailgates down at McMahon? I don't think so.
No, that was technically not inside the tailgate. It was around on the other side in a party zone.
In a party zone, which is saying basically two tailgates. So
two tailgates.
Two. We can keep going if you want.
No, but that was Whale and the Wolf, and they did the Cavis Reed pump-up song with your brother banging out the Cavis Reed parts.
Doing those lines.
That was amazing. We still want to get that recorded so we can play it on the show.
Love it.
Those guys got to put that together. I know they're busy boys, but that would be great. I don't know. I thought it was weird that the president of Football Canada, I know Football Canada is not directly linked to the Canadian Football League, but for the president of Football Canada to say that Calgary's the only true tailgate for what is really a football mad country, I I was a little disappointed. So
Well,
I said,
hot
pardon.
take, hey?
Yeah, I mean, give him the mitt.
Give him the mitt.
Give
sure.
him the mitt. Anyway, I says pardon. Brought to you by Lawyer Central. Don't let a mistake you made in the past still hurt you today. Get your record taken care of. www.lawyer-central.com/pardons, or you can call 1-888-288-8177. And as you made a good point. Don't be embarrassed. Right? Criminal records for other things.
You don't need to confess all your crimes.
Unless you've been on the lam for like murder for a few years, then you probably don't want to make that call.
Reno Hog.
But what's that?
Remember the guy I worked with that was like a convicted.
Oh, yeah.
He was under an alias. Yeah.
His name was Reno Hog?
One of his many names. I don't know. He could have benefited from this very service though that we're discussing today.
Hey, quickly on the tailgate thing.
I can't wait. Like, now you got tailgating on the tongue now.
I'm curious here in Edmonton. Because for the longest time, when people were like, "Oh man, I don't even want to go to the games. They don't even have tailgating." Like, do you think the tailgating will start to win some people over? Like the NFL hardos who are like, "Oh, the CFL sucks. They don't have tailgating." Like, do you think that will eventually win those people? I think those people just are looking for reasons to not watch the Canadian Football League anywhere. So in the end, I don't really care.
Oh, that play clock, huh?
But do you think the tailgating starts to draw some people in a little bit?
Well, even for people who aren't football fans, I mean, you can come down and have a very nice day outside the stadium, couple hours prior to kickoff, and again, have a good time. I've said too, it'd be nice if you had a ticket, you go and enjoy the game, but you don't even need one. You can go down there, have a little pregame party, and if you choose not to go to the game or you have other options to watch the game, do whatever you want. But I think just standing on its own as just a party atmosphere and a party place to be, I certainly look forward to every week or every second week to get down there on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or and YouTube Trev got down.
I cannot wait.
How good was it? Right?
I got a little taste. Like just being from back home, all you hear and all you see in the movies is tailgating. And I'm like, in Edmonton, all of a sudden there, you can do it. You can go to tailgating parties. So yeah, I cannot wait. I think I came at the later end. I missed the good stuff. But I had a grand old time, and sign me up. I cannot wait. That's so fun.
It's fun. It's free. It's you walk around, you meet lots of people, and even for myself as a Rough Rider supporter, with open arms. Like it's just a great atmosphere, good people. You and I have been to Grey Cups. You've covered. You've partied around them. Canadian Football League fans are unlike any other. It's just a nice place. Nobody gets there. There's yapping. There's trash talking, but it's all above board. And it's a good day out. Good day out. Good way to spend a summer afternoon or evening or a little bit of both. So come out and try it. Give it a taste, and I guarantee that you won't be leaving with a bad taste in your mouth.
It's I'm always very jealous of everyone.
I know. You're always...
It sucks because I always have to come out. I'm in like a suit. It's the middle of the summer. I'm a sweaty boy.
Yeah.
And Haraxi always has a grape crush for me. And I'm on that grape crush like a dog on a bone. No. But I've never had a beer pre-game at the tailgate because I have to work. So I had a beer last year after a game. They were all back out there again, just hanging around the tailgate still. And I was just like, I'll pop over, have a little bevy, which was nice.
Well, a few folks from the Elksford and stuff had in Turf District, I do believe, had an off-season meeting tailgate on a smaller level. But it's taking off. We had the chili cook-off last year. They had the chili cook-off last year, which was highly successful. This year, maybe with a little more... well, shall we say planning and that type of thing, investment, I guess, in ideas and time. Yeah, fun place to be.
It's always fun to me because as soon as the Oilers during the playoffs set something up outdoors, everybody's like, oh my God, party outdoors. This is insane.
But
and
it's
then
not like people...
At Commonwealth, people are like, oh, there's not even a... Yes, there is. You can party outdoors at Commonwealth.
And this is just more of a homemade. I mean, people, again, you get to meet people cooking their own food, doing their own thing with their own setup, as opposed to just like a, here, we're going to have you stand in this fence.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And
it's
have
good.
one washroom or whatever.
Trev, what did you tell me about the first time you ever went to Commonwealth? You said it was the biggest place you ever been in your life?
Yeah, I was a few drinks in, but man, I was just blown away. Like you could, and still I am blown away. But as soon as you you turn and you see the whole field, and it was just breathtaking. It was the biggest. I was like, wow, this is the biggest building I've ever been in my entire life. Like I was like a kid in a toy store. I was just my face was priceless, and oh man, it's so cool. Like I'm still just baffled by how massive it is.
We need you though in the tailgate.
Man, I would love to.
You have to identify a weekend or a
don't
game.
see how it would ever
Really?
happen. Like last year, Rod came and did one game out here.
Yeah, but then
I had to go somewhere else to do
Yeah.
a game. So I don't ever see a scenario where the Elks will be playing at home and I wouldn't either be calling it or being somewhere else. Unless, of course, I get fired. Then I'll be there all the time.
Well, that's a different universe there.
Yeah, that'd be insane to be there every single game.
I get Rashagi to tag in.
Yeah, Rashad, you're going to call this football game.
He's done play-by-play before, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be nice. I go on the vacation. Shaggy calls the game.
For this 2-week absence here.
We don't tell anybody either. It's a full-blown trickster. Like,
That's
Seuss is
the
just
deal.
sitting there. Rashad walks in the booth. He's like, what's up? I'm calling this thing. I'm like, what?
Cracks a grape
Yeah.
crush.
If they want, they could cut to me out in the tailgate.
Well,
that'd be fun.
though.
Yeah. That'd be pretty good. I like that. (780-218-9999), or of course you can text us anytime in the Paris Jewelers inbox. The Edmonton Oilers have won 16 in a row, and this is one of the conversations I want to get to this week. We can hop into it now. We can kind of pick it up as we work our way through the week. Tomorrow on the show, we'll have Craig Button. We'll have Joaquin Gage. Might have a football guest as well. So the Oilers have been, ridiculously hot. They were 18-2-1 down the stretch last year. Didn't lead to a cup, but man, were they good. I think they look way better right now than they did last year down the stretch.
Are you asking if they're peaking too early?
No. 24, 27. I legitimately want to know, like, outside of just the hype train, like, what are you now expecting from the Edmonton Oilers this season? Like, are you now sitting here going, if they don't win the Stanley Cup, I will be extremely, extremely, let down by this team.
Was the expectation to start the season, right?
Exactly. So, or one of the teams, right? Like they were the betting favorite to win the Stanley Cup at the beginning of the year.
And given the way the last season ended, you were.
But now with what you've seen from them, if they were to make it to a conference final and lose, are you like, good run? But, probably if they were to lose there, they would have lost to a really good hockey team, I would think. So I don't know. I'm curious of them turning it around so drastically. And I did some of the numbers on this. So during the 16-game run, they've played 6 playoff teams. Over their next 12 games, they'll play 8 playoff teams. So the schedule is going to get a little bit more difficult. But when you beat everybody, it's just insanely impressive. Like, I don't care.
Well, no trap games, no banana peels, none of that.
Yeah,
that's what people would argue, right?
Non-playoff teams beat playoff teams all the time in the NHL regular season. So I just looked at it, and the schedule is going to be difficult over the next 12 games than it was over the last 16. If they were to run off 12 more,
well,
come on. Then you're getting up to it was the Miami Heat with LeBron and DeWitt, I think that won 28 or 29 games.
You almost want to lose one at that point just to get the feeling again, right? And then
because at that point you'd be like, how do you bounce back from a loss? Well, we don't know. All they do is win.
Exactly.
Yeah. So right now, if they don't win the Stanley Cup, are you going to look at them and be like, wow, you guys are a major letdown?
Situationally, and again, me saying this has no bearing on it happening, but they've been pretty good with injuries thus far. If they got into the playoffs and had a tough opening series or something and maybe get a little beat up or something, there are scenarios you can understand where they lose a conference final and you go, well, just didn't have enough in the tank, given maybe injuries, given maybe running into an extremely hot goaltender. I know you hate that narrative as well, but there are certain things where you could say, hey, they get to the conference final, fall in 7 games in overtime or something such as that. It would sting, it would be painful, it would be all those things. But I think you could maybe understand it. But certainly to start the season, prior to all the bad stuff happening, they were a legit cup contender, and it was cup or bust in this market. We started EST around the same time. Everything was going off and kicking off in the season, and the vibes were extremely high. So I think for most to be cut, but I do understand there could be a scenario where you get to a point in the conference final where maybe you've had to slug through. Everything's had to go to a game 7, and maybe injuries catch up. I don't know. I'm saying this from a very contrarian point of view, but there could be routes that you go where you you say, okay, this is they did it all. But certainly, it's cup or bust. It was before.
You're right. That's a good point.
After,
That's a good point.
It has to be.
It was. You're right. The journey's been
that.
like this. Well, it's kind of been like the journey's actually just been like this. Oh, everybody's excited. Oh, they're the worst. Oh, they're the best.
And maybe that's when they
so
learn.
It's not like a roller coaster. Yeah. It's just like a single drop and then a huge.
All good teams go through that desert walk, right? Where like
in Wayne's World 2.
How are we going to get out of this? And they've done it already. So maybe again, that whole question of knowing how to lose or remembering how to lose, maybe they already have that in their memory bank, and they don't need it anymore. I don't know, but that certainly is. If you're looking back and doing a 30 for 30 on the season, it's a hell of a chapter to get through to ultimately get where they're going.
Trevor, you straight up expecting this team to win the Stanley Cup?
Well, I mean, they have Corey Perry, so they should at least get to the final now. No, I mean, it's tough. Like I'm trying to hold my comments because it seems and my comments, everyone's comments, they always think that it has, it's going to affect the ultimate outcome, right? But no, it's like. They're a better team. They're like the thing that I've really loved to see lately. They're not having to outscore their mistakes, and that's like the biggest change, I think. You look into the last little bit of the season, it was constantly 6 goals a night, 4 goals they were in. But they were letting in right around 4 or 5 a night, right? They had to constantly So if they can bring this play into the playoffs, like that's huge. And, they're not having to rely on their power play, which is also huge. And the thing that is kind of intimidating for other teams is, they're finding ways to score 5-on-5. But as soon as they get clicking on the power play, I mean, that's a whole another, demon in itself. So I definitely think that the Corey Perry, along with, the experience, it's just the voice in the room, and that's going to be huge for them in the playoffs. They didn't really have anything like that last year, and the year prior they had Duncan Keith, right? So I think that holds well, and so having Corey Perry in the room, it's nice. That's like just a voice in the room that's going to help a lot. And I mean, we all know it
by losing those finals. Like this is.
Yeah, like, and that's exactly what Nathan McKinnon said before he ultimately won the Cup 2 years ago. The year prior, he said, like, I've been in the league for, 10 years, and I've won nothing. He didn't quite say it like that, the next year he wins the Cup, right? Like, Connor and Leon, they're at that point, and we all know what they can do in the playoffs as well. So, Cup or bust, yeah, but for sure they should be in the finals. They really should be in the finals, and it's only time will tell.
Chad has an interesting take, which I do think I like. Chad says, I think 3rd round minimum. Other teams are good too, right? And there are other good teams. Like the others have been playing at a winning percentage over 8 since Woodcroft or since the coaching change.
Yeah, but you're not getting Chicago
like a few
in
of these teams,
game.
like Vancouver and Boston have been playing at like a 740 something like all season. Like there are other good teams in the National Hockey League too. So I mean, you want to see them win the Stanley Cup. They should be viewed as one of the top 4 or 5 Stanley Cup contenders. If they don't win it, it will be disappointing. But there are other good teams in the National Hockey League too, right? Yes. So I think it's a good point that Chad made.
And
there.
Outside scenarios that can knock down even the strongest teams. It just happens from time to time. But certainly all the storylines and the narratives add up. The Perry thing, the McDavid and Draisaitl still itching to get there, and he's been there, and the start to the season it was.
Jasmine is in and says, are you guys worried about the All-Star break possibly fiddling with our momentum? Oil usually come out sluggish after time away. This is why I think the game in Vegas is the perfect spot to come out of this thing.
Because you've been beating all these lesser thans.
Yeah.
As I said to start the show, this is their nemesis.
Do others get up for Vegas, man?
It's like you've beaten a level now, and you're on to the next level, and that would be the next level. So I think there's always a little concern when you have time off, a good thing. Just in life, right? Like that's a thing. You want to keep the good times rolling, but that should be, they're going to look at that as the next challenge and the next step to the detractors saying that this streak is fraudulent or whatever you want to say. Well, now's the time to prove it. It's the next level in this game. And having that as your game back, and the fact that we'll be there, I mean, that's setting up as an all-timer.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be amazing. Yeah, that's going to be absolutely incredible. Casino Dealer Jay says, I think I'm okay with anything happening in the playoffs except for the Canucks beating the Oilers and winning the Cup. If that happens, I don't know if I can watch the Oilers after that.
Another one of those teams that you mentioned that since
But
this
the
run
Canucks
have been playing very well.
Canucks have been playing at an insane level all season long. Like the Vancouver Canucks, people in their market are sitting there going, the Vancouver Canucks should be in the Stanley Cup final. If they don't win, it'll be a disappointment. They're having the same conversations that we're having. So,
but they haven't been having them over the past couple of years, I guess.
Andrew says they started this run in New York and then went on the Christmas break and continued it. Yeah, different. This is much longer. They're not going to be playing hockey here for a good stretch.
And they came back to play the San Jose Sharks, and this is not the San Jose
Sharks. But coming
Sharks.
back and losing 3 or 4 games in the month of February is not the end of the world. Like, they're playing better teams in February. The schedule has, there's back-to-back.
And they're back in where they need to be.
Yeah.
Are you still concerned about any of those wild card teams? I know the Blues have been turning on as of late, 5 in a row. But it's not like anybody's going to track you down at this point. And in terms of positioning, do we care if they're a wild card team or a third? Like, I mean, I think you get them into the postseason. Get in the postseason, everybody should be scared of them again.
Your thoughts, 780-218-9999. Hey, do you guys reply to texts in the nasty chat? Well, you replied to this guy's text already a few times in the past.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we do.
How we do it? I type on the keyboard here.
Trev, you're just going to leave Laura Central up there for the rest of the show or what?
Yes. Well,
Laura Central's just being like, are you getting paid under the table by Laura Central? Classic move.
Sorry about that.
Classic move. I like that. Trev has a part and they're trying to get rid of it. That's what's going on. He's working out a little bit extra buzz there. Yeah, that's good. All right, let's get into the wrap for William Huff. If you want your place to look as good as ours, get it done. Bruce and his team, the Dream Team.
Dream Team.
At William Huff, they will take care of you. They've been doing it since the early 70s. Visit them, www.williamhuff.com. They wrap 3 walls for us, and they all look terrific. Let them help you take your business to the next level. What did we learn on the show today, buddy?
Vegas is Steinbach, the nemesis. The nemesis. That's what I've been trying to go for that one. They are the nemesis.
We'll have to get for that sound of the day.
Babbage stash.
You've been working that pretty hard here.
Say the kickers numbers again. Your Detroit Lions.
Yeah, everybody say,
Sorry, I must have missed it on the broadcast. I must have missed it all season long. But I don't know how you get to Championship Sunday and you're in a championship game and you maybe need a kick or two. And you look to your kicker.
Run Badgley out there.
And what's the stat line?
In his career, he's 33% from 50 and beyond. You're going to roll him out there for a 48-yarder. And he's 1 for 5 since 2020 on grass.
How did he play game? Did he play game 1 for you? How did it was Lions and Chiefs game 1, wasn't it? Was he on the roster?
No.
How does this happen? How does he get to this point? That's what those numbers just. I can't fault Dan Campbell for
Thank you.
Being what he's being who he is.
Mission accomplished. Nobody can fault Dan Campbell for anything he does. And I'll ride with this guy for the rest of my days, except for that one stupid Jordan text that came in. Outside of that, I mean, I got this guy's back.
You might even take him in the captain draft.
Speaking of having somebody's back, let's get to text of the day. We were looking, Ryan Rashad could not join us today or next Monday. He's going on vacation.
Doesn't have our back
so
during the All-Star break.
So we were looking for reasons Rashad can't join us. This is, and where is he going on vacation? Text of the day for A&W, where it is a pickle party only at A&W.
Yeah.
There we go. The A&W Spicy Dill Pickle Mama Burger is back, and now it's available as a buddy burger. Starting at just $3.99. 3 grass-fed beef burgers, topped with pickles, onion slice, real cheddar cheese, slathered in creamy, spicy dill pickle sauce. Available for a limited time only at A&W. Text of the day today is going to go to Big Uke. Shoggy needs time off because he's having a real tough time right now. He hasn't been able to run anyone out of town for weeks. Oh,
real good.
That's a good one.
Right,
That's a good one. Yeah. He who runs people out of town has to get out of town himself because there's just nobody to take with you. Big Uke, congratulations. Text of the day, buddy.
Is he like off the circuit? Like he's no phones? Is it one of those trips? Like, is that why?
Well, I don't know. I would assume he still probably does got your back a few times unless he's just leaving up to Strutty and Brown, which he could
if that's the case, I mean, I'm just kind of, he could.
Yeah.
Because if he's going off,
I would assume he must be somewhere where he has no internet, or he definitely could have connected this morning. Yeah,
yeah.
We'll
We don't know
we'll
the
get to the
details,
bottom of
which-
this.
yeah.
We'll get to the bottom of this. Anyway, Big Uke, you got that text of the day?
Yeah, somebody just texted the exact same thing trying to win.
The exact same
Look,
thing?
The Big Uke's text, they just texted it in. Again,
What?
trying
What
to
is
win,
this?
trying to swoop the text that it's...
His nemesis.
It seems like it, eh?
Sound of the day. Let's roll it back to Doug Roach again, right? Why not? Come on.
anytime you can.
Cassidy turns back.
Joey B. Lagazity. I like the idea of including players' middle initials while calling games.
Joey Bila Cassidy turns back. Looks like they're doing a little reverse that you might see in football. And here comes Bazin. He's got some speed. Split the D. Oh, what's he going to do? He's shooting the roof, Daddy. Oh, look at that. Look at this. Look at that. And there's the speed. The old banana splitting Rudy. And, Vernon is rejoice as their nemesis. Steinbach. They get him in the overtime. Roof Daddy.
Oh, man, if the Oilers beat Vegas, we are definitely tweeting up from Vegas. The Knights, their nemesis.
The whole thing.
They get them.
The whole thing.
Oh, that would be good. I like that. Hey, how about this? Morning, boys, from offshore rig in Doha, Qatar. Map it. Craving a dill pickle A&W burger. Go Oilers. We got it.
Offshore rig.
We got Gold Canyon. We got Harvest K. And we got Doha today.
Yeah, Harvest K. That was the one I was...
Yeah.
It's by Guatemala.
Zach Dickham's going to be busy. All right, what are you watching tonight?
Well, as mentioned earlier during the Cool Bet Canada hotline of the day, stay cool, bet responsibly.
Stay cool, bet responsibly, yes. Don't get me started on that.
Wrexham. They'll be visiting Blackburn Rovers, Ewood Park. We had a Blackburn supporter chiming in on the message chat this morning as well.
Small world.
That's where their family's from. But I'll be watching that. Should be an entertaining watch. That'll be on Sportsnet later this afternoon. Jam-packed night in the NBA. 12 games on tap. Your Lakers taking on the Rockets, I do believe, in a battle for mid-table supremacy there in the Western Conference, 9v11. It's
a big one. You got to have it.
Yeah. And the NHL tonight, get ready for this one. It is, we're leading into All-Star Week, but we still have an affair of the Predators and Senators to take care of this evening.
Oh, man, I've been waiting all year for that one.
So get set for that.
That's a big one. Lakers and Rockets will be the main focus in the Nielsen household tonight. Also, I'll be rewatching Dan Campbell going for it on fourth down because I love to see it. I'll go back and watch again and be like, damn it, it was the right decision. 100%. That's my guy.
Jazzed up for next season.
That's
eh?
my guy. I'm going to be fired up.
There's no purgatory anymore with you. There's no what are we doing? Where are we going? You know where you're going. The future's bright and it's loud, right?
Oh, yeah, it's going to be very loud and aggressive.
You just need a kicker.
And I love that. All right, that's going to do it for us. Ron Francis is not a top 5 player in NHL history.
Does he make the captain's draft? Top 5 pick.
He also does not make captain's draft. Sorry, not going to happen. That's going to do it for us. Hangouts coming up right here. If you are watching and you not yet subscribed, give us a sub. That would be great. Make sure autoplay is on. We'll take you right on over to the Hangout. I'll be back with huge Kansas City Chiefs fan, Huss, on the Lock Shop today at 11. Oil Stream at noon right here and only here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tell your friends how easy it is to listen to all of our live content on TuneIn and at edmontonsportstalk.com. For YouTube, Trev, Lieutenant Eric, I am Dustin Nielson. Dan Campbell is still the man. Have a great day. Take it easy.